Chapter 361 The Deep-Sea Demonic Whale King. 2 weeks later, Lu Chen and Xiao Wu set foot on the land of Poseidon Island once again. Xiao Wu's gaze drifted towards the center of Sea God Island, and she slowly said, "I wonder how Yanzi and the others are doing." Lu Chen nodded slightly, about to speak, when a familiar figure flew out from the sea. The lawn. Ji unseen Xiaobai landed steadily in front of Lu Chen. "Lu Chen, you're finally back." Lu Chen smiled slightly and said, "Little Bai, I want to hunt down the deep-sea demon whale king next, as the 9th soul ring for the Asura demon sword." Quote, Xiaobai was taken aback at first, then said solemnly, "Lu Chen, you need to think this through. The deep-sea demon whale king is different from ordinary 100,000-year-old soul beasts. Its cultivation is unfathomable. Even Poseidon might not be able to defeat the deep-sea demon whale king." Upon hearing this, Xiao Wu's heart tightened, and her face immediately filled with worry. She looked at Xiaobai and asked, "Xiaobai, the deep-sea demon whale king is a soul beast of the sea. You must know it much better than we do. Tell us about the deep-sea demon whale king's various abilities and overall strength." "To be honest, I have never seen the deep-sea demon whale king. I know nothing about its abilities. When I was born, my elders strictly warned me that no one in our clan was allowed to enter the deep-sea demon whale king's territory." Xiaobai pressed his index finger to his lips, pondering deeply, and said, "The deep-sea demon whale king is likely the #1 overlord in the entire ocean. Moreover, he is an invincible overlord. Even without your human god-level power, he is probably not much different from god-level power." Hearing this, Xiao Wu's worry deepened. Her right hand instinctively grabbed Lu Chen's wrist, her palm pressed against his skin, a tremor that was hard to conceal. Lu Chen gently patted Xiao Wu's head and said softly, "Don't worry. No matter how powerful the deep-sea demon whale king is, it won't possess god-level combat power. Otherwise, it would have already become the second sea god and ruled the entire ocean." He pinched Xiao Wu's cheek and gently comforted her. "Go find Zhu Qing and the others first, I'll go complete the divine test." "But," Xiao Wu looked up at Lu Chen, her eyes slightly red. Her pink eyes filled with reluctance and worry. The words were on the tip of her tongue, but she swallowed them back. Lu Chen looked at her reddened eyes and his heart softened. He reached out and gently wiped away the tears that were about to fall from the corners of her eyes. "Don't worry, Seniors Shura and Destruction won't let me perish here at the deep-sea demon whale king." After hearing Lu Chen's words, Xiao Wu reluctantly nodded. She slowly raised her other hand and gently stroked Lu Chen's cheek. Then, she stood on tiptoe and gently pressed her forehead against his. "Lu Chen." Her voice was soft, with a slight sob. "I'll wait for you. You must come back safely. No matter how long it takes, I'll be with Zhu Qing and the others, waiting for you on Sea God Island." As soon as she finished speaking, she didn't hesitate at all. She tilted her head slightly and gently pressed her soft lips against Lu Chen's lips. After a short while, Xiao Wu slowly stepped back, but her eyes remained fixed on Lu Chen. "I will." Lu Chen felt a warmth in his heart, reached out and hugged her tightly, resting his chin on the top of her head, his voice low and gentle. "Wait for me to come back. Wait for me to achieve the position of Asura. I will never be separated from you again." Xiao Wu leaned against him, buried her face in his chest, and nodded vigorously. A moment later, Lu Chen gently pushed her away, reached out and rubbed her head, his eyes full of doting. "Go, find Zhu Qing and the others, don't let them worry." Xiao Wu bit her lower lip, took one last look at him, slowly released her grip on his wrist, and walked towards the center of Sea God Island, turning back every few steps. She stopped just before the figure disappeared from sight, turned around, waved vigorously at Lu Chen, and called out from afar, "Lu Chen, you must stay safe." Lu Chen stood still, nodding vigorously, his gaze following her figure until she completely disappeared. Only then did the tenderness in his eyes gradually fade away. He looked at Xiaobai and said slowly, "Xiaobai, take me to find the deep-sea demon whale king." Xiaobai nodded slowly. "Okay, I'll take you there." As soon as she finished speaking, Little White leapt into the sea, her body radiating a pale blue aura of soul power. Her originally petite body suddenly swelled up, transforming in an instant into several Enormous demonic soul great white sharks. Lu Chen leapt and landed steadily on Xiao Bai's broad back. Little White let out a low growl, vigorously swung its tail fin, and its massive body transformed into a white lightning bolt, hurtling towards the demon whale sea. One day later, the clear sea gradually changed, the sky blue water slowly turning deep, from light blue to dark blue, and then to inky blue. And the oppressive feeling in the air grew stronger. Xiao Bai stopped in this area of the sea and said slowly to Lu Chen, the area where the deep-sea demon whale king is active is just ahead. I can only take you this far. She knew that if she stayed by Lu Chen's side, she would definitely become a burden to him. Lu Chen nodded, and with a flap of his destruction dragon wings, he soared into the air. The sea below had turned as black as ink, and the immense pressure seemed to have solidified the air. Even more terrifying was that large swaths of dark clouds gathered above the entire demon whale sea, turning the sky and the sea simultaneously as black as ink. Clearly, the nearly million-year-old deep-sea demon whale king also sensed Lu Chen's presence. Boom! A massive blue beam of light, 5 meters in diameter, burst forth from the sea without warning amidst the deafening roar, arriving before Lu Chen in an instant. Snort! Lu Chen snorted coldly, his right arm glowing with a blue light. And he threw a punch. A dark blue dragon soul flew out directly from Lu Chen's right fist. The azure dragon soul transformed into a phantomized dragon tens of feet long in the air, baring its fangs and claws as it lunged at the blue pillar of light. Wherever the ice dragon passed, the air froze into sparkling icicles. Boom! The ice dragon collided violently with the blue beam of light, and the eerie blue chill spread rapidly along the beam. The once clear and dazzling blue pillar of light gradually lost its luster, transforming into a huge, azure blue ice pillar. Then, with a loud bang, the enormous ice pillar shattered with a deafening roar, turning into countless tiny ice fragments that fell to the seabed. From beneath the dark sea below came a deafening roar, a roar filled with unbelievable rage. The entire demon whale sea trembled violently, with giant waves surging. A massive body, resembling a small island, slowly rose from the water. All the surrounding seawater was covered with a thick blue luster. At this moment, it seemed as if the sky was the earth and the sea had become the azure sky. The massive deep-sea whale king is over 200 meters long and is entirely sapphire-colored. It has 2 enormous eyes on its head, the one on the left being a black hole that was blinded by Poseidon, the god of the sea. Each eye is over 3 meters in diameter, with the only remaining right eye piercing the air with a cold gaze. The deep-sea demon whale king stared coldly at Lu Chen in the air with its single eye, its eyes filled with killing intent. Chapter 362 Battle. The deep-sea demon whale king. Human, this is not a place for you. The deep voice seemed to come from the ocean, and the surrounding seawater boiled. Because of the deep-sea demon whale king's words, the Asura mark between Lu Chen's brows lit up, and the Asura demon sword appeared in his palm. Deep-sea demon whale king. Today is your death day, arrogant brat. Upon hearing this, the deep-sea demon whale king narrowed its remaining right eye, its killing intent growing even stronger. It looked at the Asura mark between Lu Chen's eyebrows and said coldly, "So you're actually a successor of a god. Very well, since you've walked right into our trap, you may stay here forever. I wonder if absorbing your legacy will help me break through that final shackle." Before the words were finished, with a slight movement of its body, a huge tail rose from behind, carrying a distorted blue light, and slammed heavily onto the sea surface. Billions of water droplets shot into the sky, condensing into countless sharp water blades that hovered in midair, aimed at Lu Chen. Kill. Before the roar of the deep-sea demon whale king had even subsided, countless water blades in midair hurtled towards Lu Chen like a torrential downpour. Burn. Lu Chen waved his left arm, and a golden-red dragon soul flew out, transforming into a giant dragon whose body was covered in golden-red flames. The dragon's roar reverberated through the deep sea, and the surrounding seawater rippled. The water blades that rushed towards the dragon were instantly vaporized into white mist by the high-temperature flames and dissipated into the air as soon as they approached within 3 feet of the dragon. The dragon swung its fiery body and spewed out a thick pillar of golden-red fire that shot straight toward the massive body of the deep-sea demon whale king. Wherever the pillar of fire passed, the seawater churned and boiled violently. Roar! The deep-sea whale seemed to be enraged. A huge blue light, more than 5 meters in diameter, condensed at the front of its mountain-like back. The terrifying blue light only condensed for a moment. The next moment it shot out and collided with the pillar of fire. Boom! A deafening roar exploded in the deep sea. Golden red flames and deep blue water shimmered and collided violently. The flames scorched the water, while the water suppressed the flames. The two extreme forces devoured and neutralized each other, stirring up white mist and water droplets that illuminated the entire deep sea in a flickering light. "You've got some skills, kid." The deep-sea demon whale king's voice grew increasingly cold, filled with undisguised killing intent and a hint of greed. "It seems your divine inheritance is even purer than I imagined. However, my body has already reached the divine level by 99%. You think you can fight me now? Let me devour you, finish off the last 1%, and become an unprecedented demon god." Quote. As it spoke, the massive body of the deep-sea demon whale king suddenly tumbled violently in the sea, its enormous tail whipping up and slapping towards Lu Chen in the air. A beam of blue-purple light shot out, sweeping out in a fan shape. Wherever that immense energy passed, the air was forcibly torn apart, causing a layer of tiny black lightning to appear around the blue-purple fan-shaped radiance. With a thought, Lu Chen's golden dragon king bloodline suddenly boiled. Roar! With a powerful dragon roar, his body instantly transformed into a dragon. Then he raised the Asura demon sword in his hand to meet the attack of the deep-sea demon whale king head-on. The energy from the whale's tail collided violently with the Asura demon sword, and the light in midair suddenly dimmed. This time, not a single sound was uttered. The Asura sword intent and the power of blood and chi were added to the Asura demon sword, and it actually managed to block the attack. A hint of surprise flashed in the eyes of the deep-sea demon whale king. It never expected that a human could withstand its attack. Its massive body shuddered violently, and a tingling pain shot through its tail. The backlash spread from its tail throughout its entire body, causing it to groan involuntarily. 7 kills of Asura, kill 1 living being. Lu Chen gently raised his right hand, which was holding the Asura demon sword, and the crimson gold sword light instantly tore through the sky and shot towards the deep-sea demon whale king. "You're asking for it." The deep-sea demon whale king roared and turned around again. Its 200-meter-long body displayed great agility. As it turned around, its huge whale tail lashed out at the sword light. Boom! The deep-sea demon whale king's energy accumulated over millions of years was simply too immense. The moment the two collided, the sword light shattered instantly, just like glass. Watching this scene, Lu Chen thought to himself, as expected of a soul beast that is nearly 1,000,000 years old, its physical strength is probably far more terrifying than that of Shang Jun. The deep-sea demon whale king stared coldly at Lu Chen, his soul power surging, and a deep blue light rose from the sea below. 9 massive bolts of lightning, each as thick as a water vat, descended from the dark clouds in midair and struck towards Lu Chen. "Kill the hungry ghost twice." Lu Chen's eyes shone with a crimson gold light, and a blood-red light erupted from the blade of the Asura demon sword. An extreme L.Y. dense killing intent surged out from Lu Chen's body, condensing into a blurry Asura phantom behind him. Lu Chen flicked his wrist, and the Asura demon sword slashed out fiercely. A malevolent demon form materialized, its fangs bared and claws menacing, charging toward the 9 bolts of lightning with overwhelming killing intent. Jiang. There was no earth-shattering explosion when the sword energy collided with the lightning. The 9 lightning pillars instantly transformed into countless tiny bolts of lightning, which flickered a few times in midair before completely dissipating without leaving a trace. With a single sword strike, the lightning in the sky was scattered. "Good. Very good. The stronger you are, the more you will help me after being devoured. Next, I will show you what happens when you offend me." As soon as the words were spoken, all the light on the sea became viscous at that moment. The seawater seemed to have stopped flowing, and a ring of blue light, almost tangible, rapidly spread out from the massive body of the deep-sea whale. In just 1 second, this enormous ring had expanded to a radius of 10 miles. The next moment, a roar that made the sea tremble resounded. Within a radius of 10 miles, the sea boiled, and seawater shot hundreds of meters into the air, condensing into sparkling blue ice crystals that exploded in an instant. Asura Domain. Activate. The Asura mark between Lu Chen's eyebrows suddenly erupted with a dazzling blood-red light, which swept over his body like a tidal wave. Centered on him, a dark red domain suddenly unfolded. Within the domain, the air ceased to flow, the seawater was forcibly forced back several feet, and the dark red Asura power transformed into countless blood-red patterns, enveloping the battlefield within a 10-mile radius. Colliding fiercely with the blue halo spread by the deep-sea demon whale king. Snap! The moment the two extreme domains collided, a piercing cracking sound exploded. And both Lu Chen's and the deep-sea demon whale king's domains showed signs of damage. This does not mean that the deep-sea demon whale king's domain is on par with the Asura domain, but that the deep-sea demon whale king's foundation, accumulated over 900,000 years of cultivation, is too profound. Compared to the deep-sea demon whale king, Lu Chen's foundation is still weak. Allows the deep-sea demon whale king to fight against the god-level domain through quantitative change. Chapter 363 Divine Armor Transformation. Ha ha ha, can you feel the difference now? The deep-sea demon whale king's maniacal laughter shook the seawater violently. Today, you will not be able to escape. Before the words were even finished, its massive body suddenly sank down, and the blue light around it intensified. The seawater within a radius of 10 miles was instantly stirred up, transforming into a gigantic hand that blotted out the sky and the sun. With a world-destroying force, it slammed down fiercely towards Lu Chen's Asura domain. Lu Chen's expression darkened slightly, and he let out a muffled groan as the light of the Asura mark between his brows dimmed a bit. Triple kill hell. Lu Chen took a step forward, his figure transforming into a streak of crimson gold light, leaving a long afterimage in the air, 8 hot 8 cold soul-shattering abyss. On the sword, the powers of ice and fire suddenly condensed. Cut! With a deep shout that shook the heavens and the earth, Lu Chen leapt up and slashed down fiercely with the Asura demon sword in his hand. The power of ice and fire erupted instantly, transforming into a giant sword beam tens of feet long, like a thunderbolt ripping through the sky, slashing fiercely towards the giant hand. A deafening roar erupted, and a violent energy shockwave swept wildly outwards from the point of impact, tearing the seawater into countless vacuum trenches and instantly crushing the seabed reefs into dust. The blue seawater power and the dual-colored ice and fire power tore and devour each other wildly. The blue light on the surface of the giant hand dimmed at a visible speed. Countless seawater was evaporated by the sword light, turning into white mist that rose and spread in the deep sea. But the power of that giant hand did not diminish in the slightest. It carried the weight of the endless sea, water and forced the sword light to bend slightly, crushing towards Lu Chen inch by inch. Seeing this, Lu Chen flicked the Asura demon sword in his hand, and the Asura sword intent surged forth. The previously suppressed ice and fire sword light suddenly erupted, with crimson flames spreading like wildfire and blue chills instantly freezing the seawater on the outer layer of the giant hand. The interplay of ice and fire forcefully suppressed the giant hand's attack. The giant hand suddenly exploded, turning into a sky full of raging seawater. But the deep-sea demon whale king's eyes were still full of disdain. Although the thing inside you is very powerful, you are too weak. As he spoke, the deep-sea demon whale king's body began to emit blue light, and then water and lightning occur. Eye buttes condensed into a huge blue-purple vortex. The vortex began to contract rapidly, squeezing and compressing its own energy as it spun violently. Soon the body of the deep-sea demon whale king disappeared from sight. The world was instantly filled with the immense energy of the deep-sea demon whale king. The immense energy of the deep-sea demon whale king was being compressed at an extremely terrifying speed. And the compression was very layered. The closer to the core, the stronger the energy fluctuations became. Soon, the blue-purple light subsided, and the enormous deep-sea demon whale, which was 200 meters long, disappeared. In front of Lu Chen appeared a middle-aged man with an ancient face. This person was over 3 meters tall, with long, dark blue hair cascading down his back. Most remarkably, he wore a strange, dark purple suit of armor. The armor is crystalline in shape and consists of a breastplate, shoulder armor, abdominal armor, battle skirt, and limb armor. It is a single piece with no visible seams, and the tall neck guards also protect the neck. He wore a semi-enclosed dark purple helmet with gill-like patterns on both sides. All the energy in the air seemed to converge the moment he appeared. At the same time, a huge, deep purple vortex appeared behind him. The vortex slowly floated upwards, swirling from behind him to in front of him, finally condensing in the center of his breastplate, transforming into a fist-sized gem that shimmered with rotating energy. I will use this body to absorb your power. Only then can we achieve perfect harmony. The deep-sea demon whale king's eyes were filled with greed. It should be noted that the strength of a soul beast would be weakened after it transformed into human form. But it's different. It can compress energy that can't be completely solidified into the body into this armor and wear it. It can still use it to exert the power of the original energy, and its power is almost not lost. Energy armor transformation. It seems you weren't just boasting, you've probably really reached a level close to godhood. As soon as Lu Chen finished speaking, his arms, torso, legs, and back suddenly lit up with various colored lights. Each ray of light materialized, condensing into dragon souls that roamed around Lu Chen's body. Then, each dragon soul flew into the abode of its respective soul bone. Just as the dragon souls returned to their positions, Lu Chen's body suddenly erupted with dazzling crimson gold light. Amidst the rosy glow, countless fine, crimson gold scales appeared out of thin air, layering upon layer onto his body as if forged from molten gold. The shoulder armor is sharply defined, engraved with ferocious dragon patterns, with the dragon's head holding the edge of the armor, and tiny red gold crystals embedded in its eye sockets, which shimmer slightly with each breath. The breastplate is broad and thick, converging at the dantian to form a rotating red gold light spot. The abdominal armor fits the waistline, and the battle skirt is composed of dozens of curved red gold armor leaves that hang down to the ankles. Armor covers the limbs, extending to the knuckles and toes. The plates are seamlessly connected, allowing for both freedom of movement and complete protection of vital organs. The moment the crimson gold armor was fully formed, a pressure several times stronger than before swept across the entire area. The originally raging seawater was forcibly suppressed by this pressure. Centered on Lu Chen, the seawater within a radius of 5 Jiang solidified into a crystal-clear ice wall, and the faint sound of a dragon's roar came from within the armor, deep and majestic. The deep-sea demon whale king frowned subconsciously, and the greed in his eyes turned more serious. Go to hell! The deep-sea demon whale king roared and suddenly raised his right hand. Purple orbs of light appeared around his body, instantly covering an area of hundreds of square meters. Each ball of light locked onto Lu Chen, and the massive energy fluctuations instantly turned the sky above the deep-sea demon whale king's side purple, and it was also slightly distorted. A piercing sound of air being torn apart rang out. From the moment it was condensed to the moment it was released, only a single breath had passed. The thousands upon thousands of purple light orbs hurtled towards Lu Chen like a meteor shower, their speed so fast that it could only be described as lightning. Each of those purple orbs is formed by the fusion of two energies, and once they collide, they will unleash terrifying attack power. Seeing this, Lu Chen slightly raised his left hand, and the scepter of destruction slowly appeared in his hand. Several hundred and year spirit rings on it lit up instantly. The inky black destructive power surged into the scepter along his arm, and two crimson lights flared up in the dragon's eyes at the top of the scepter, like the eyes of hell opening. Exuding a chilling stillness, the scepter of destruction hovered in Lu Chen's palm, and countless slender yet extremely refined rays of destruction burst forth from the scepter, dyeing the entire sea area with a deathly gray-black hue. Those rapidly approaching purple orbs of light, once they touched them, caused destructive rays that were like husks stripped of their souls. It exploded in midair, turning into wisps of purple mist that were immediately swallowed up by the destructive light, leaving not even a trace of energy behind. Chapter 364 Guu Yuina appears. In just a few breaths, the purple light sphere covering an area of several hundred square meters vanished completely. The deep-sea demon whale king's expression changed slightly. He knew best how powerful the energy he released was. In his view, there was no way Lu Chen could have blocked that attack unscathed. The next second, Lu Chen stomped forward with his right foot, and with the flapping of his dragon wings, he instantly appeared in front of the deep-sea demon whale king. The Asura demon sword in his hand, imbued with boundless killing intent from its domain, slashed down towards the deep-sea demon Whale King. The deep-sea demon Whale King was not to be outdone. Its body surged with purple light as it charged forward to meet Lu Chen. He clenched his fists and slammed them together in front of his chest. A purple halo instantly rippled out from his chest, just like the gem on his chest that shimmered with a vortex of intense light. Wherever the purple light passed, the air instantly seemed to freeze. Lu Chen felt a surge of spiritual energy attacking him, attempting to invade his sea of consciousness. Ridiculous. As soon as he finished speaking, a dragon roared, and a powerful burst of blood energy exploded, forcefully shattering the purple light that enveloped his body. It should be noted that Lu Chen only has 3 seals left. Once they are broken, he can transform into the true Golden Dragon King. On Douluo Star, he can completely rely on his current power to break through all laws with one force. Facing the menacing Asura demon sword, the EPC demon Whale King dared not be careless. He raised both hands simultaneously, his entire armor gleaming brightly, fully mobilizing the compressed energy within to meet Lu Chen's attack. Just as the Asura demon sword was about to fall, Lu Chen's aura surged once again. 5 kills of the Heavenly Kings. Before he finished speaking, his aura suddenly changed drastically, and the 3 cores in his body began to operate wildly. Suddenly, a sky full of crimson gold battle aura rose around Lu Chen, and the battle aura condensed into a half-illusory, half-real war god phantom above his head. The phantom figure was clad in shattered golden armor and wielded the same Shura demon sword. Kill! A furious roar shook the seawater to its core, and the Asura demon sword in the war god's phantom slashed down with a deafening roar. Boom! The earth-shattering roar shook the entire deep sea violently. The 10,000-foot-long crimson gold sword light collided with the dense purple energy, forming an energy shockwave that spanned hundreds of feet. The seemingly invincible deep-sea demon Whale King was actually suppressed by Lu Chen from midair with a single sword strike. With a splash, it crashed into the sea, creating a huge wave hundreds of feet high. Lu Chen didn't stop after his successful strike. He swung the Asura demon sword down again, forcefully splitting the exploding waves. The entire sea surface was cleaved open by a huge trench that is hundreds of meters deep. The deep-sea demon Whale King's figure, which had just stabilized, was revealed. Kill the hungry ghost twice. A crimson gold light shone from Lu Chen's body, and the Asura sword intent instantly froze the surrounding seawater. The phantom of a demon, formed from sword intent, roared on the sword, baring its fangs and exuding a ferocious aura. Cut! As soon as he finished speaking, Lu Chen unleashed the Asura demon sword, and a malevolent Dharma form charged straight toward the deep-sea demon Whale King. The deep-sea demon Whale King looked solemn, cupping his hands in a trumpet shape and placing them near his ears. Facing the evil spirit that descended from the sky, he suddenly opened his massive maw. And a loud, long roar resounded throughout the heavens and earth. With a long chant, a white mist, like a bolt of lightning, shot out from his mouth, its aura clear and domineering. Gradually, his long chant transformed into a roar like a dragon's cry, and dark clouds surged wildly in the sky. The white mist quickly condensed into a ball in the air and precisely met the Asura sword chi. Boom! The moment the Asura demon sword made contact, white mist scattered, and the seawater within 100 feet around evaporated instantly. A scarlet sword mark appeared on the chest of the deep-sea demon Whale King. Lu Chen looked at the deep-sea demon Whale King and said coldly, "It seems you also have something I want inside you." The white aura that the deep-sea demon Whale King had just unleashed was clearly pill aura, which meant that it contained a whale pill within its body. Arrogant! An angry roar came from the mouth of the deep-sea demon Whale King. He pressed down on the seawater and flew towards Lu Chen like a cannonball. While his body was still in the air, a huge purple light had already condensed into a giant ball of light around his body. At the same time, a massive phantom of a deep-sea demon whale appeared behind him. The purple orb that the deep-sea demon Whale King's body had transformed into instantly detached from his main bow and turned into 2 enormous purple warhammers. A brilliant golden light shone from Lu Chen's chest. "Want to fight me at close range? Fine, then I'll grant your wish. Hold head high." With a resounding dragon roar, Lu Chen's body transformed against the wind, instantly becoming a golden dragon 100 meters tall. The Asura demon sword swelled within the ferocious dragon claws until it adapted to the dragon's body. The deep-sea demon whale king swung its pair of deep purple octagonal plum blossom hammers and smashed them down on Lu Chen's head. The moment it crashed down, the air was crushed, producing a piercing explosion, and the undercurrents beneath the sea surged wildly. Lu Chen's eyes narrowed, and the huge golden dragon king's head turned slightly to avoid the hammer's edge. At the same time, his left claw, wrapped in the power of crimson gold blood, slammed hard against the side of the warhammer. Clang! As the golden claws collided with the purple hammer, he deep-sea demon whale king felt an immense force strike him, and he was instantly sent flying backward. At the same time, Lu Chen's Asura demon sword slashed directly at the deep-sea demon whale king. The sword light flashed like a shooting star, arriving in front of the deep-sea demon whale king's flying figure in an instant. In a flash, the deep-sea demon whale king had made his choice. He hastily twisted his body and slammed his double hammers, which were infused with most of his power, toward Lu Chen. With a sharp slicing sound, the blade of the Asura demon sword pierced through the purple protective shield surrounding him, tearing through his armor as easily as cutting tofu. Fragments of armor, mixed with deep purple blood, plunged into the churning sea. A piercing WL erupted from the mouth of the deep-sea demon whale king. He looked down at the wound on his chest, which was deeper and longer than before. Deep within the wound, the Asura's killing intent gnawed at his meridians and flesh like a maggot clinging to his bones. At the same time, the twin hammers, which had gathered most of the power of the deep-sea demon whale king, transformed into two streams of light and smashed directly into Lu Chen's chest. Lu Chen's eyes narrowed. He could sense the terrifying power emanating from those hammers. If he were to let those hammers fall on him, he would be seriously injured even if he didn't die. At the critical moment, just as Lu Chen was about to mobilize all the power in his body to resist, he suddenly noticed that the space above his head was suddenly distorted. Without any earth-shattering signs, there was an overwhelming pressure far exceeding that of the deep-sea demon whale king, like a galaxy falling from the heavens, instantly enveloping the entire sea area. The oppressive aura was cold and noble, yet contained a hint of indescribable gentleness. It precisely avoided Lu Chen, but firmly imprisoned the two purple hammer shadows in midair. The deep-sea demon whale king's pupils suddenly contracted. Click, click, a faint cracking sound rang out, and the space above seemed to be torn apart by an invisible hand. A pale purple rift slowly widened, and within the rift, stardust and purple mist swirled. A slender and graceful figure stepped out slowly through the star mist. She wore a light purple dress with starlight shimmering on the hem, which swayed gently in the sea breeze like a cascading galaxy. Her long, silver-gray hair reached her waist, her skin was as white as snow, and her eyes were as cold as the moon. But when she looked at Lu Chen's golden dragon, all her coldness melted away instantly, and an indescribable longing welled up in her eyes. Chapter 365 Dragon God Transformation. As soon as Guu Yuina appeared, the deep-sea demon whale king's face was filled with terror. He was the overlord of the deep sea, who had lived for tens of thousands of years and had seen countless powerful figures on Douluo star. But he had never seen such a terrifying existence. Her mere presence was enough to immobilize him. Her mere gesture of raising her hand was enough to halt his full-force attack. Just who was this woman? Guu Yuina's steps seemed slow, but she covered 1,000 feet in a single step, landing directly beside Lu Chen. Lu Chen, are you all right? I'm fine, but how did you end up here? Lu Chen looked at her, his eyes full of surprise. Guu Yuina did not answer, but slowly turned around, her cold gaze falling on the deep-sea demon whale king flying upside down on the sea surface. And the pressure around her rose again. He who harms others shall die. 4 words, light and airy, yet carrying an undeniable resolve. As soon as she finished speaking, she raised her hand, and gently grasped the 2 imprisoned purple hammer shadows. With 2 crisp cracking sounds, the 2 hammers instantly turned into countless purple light spots and dissipated in the sea breeze. Since that's the case, then let's die together. Having existed for millions of years, the deep-sea demon whale king naturally wouldn't wait to die. Sensing Guu Yuina's power, he seemed to have gone mad, cupping his hands in front of his heart. Above his palms was the gem with a vortex inside his chest. A terrifying burst of energy suddenly erupted, and a massive energy fluctuation instantly surged forth. With a deafening roar, the armor on the deep-sea demon whale king exploded instantly, transforming back into massive energy. The overwhelming purple vortex reappeared, forcibly turning the space around him purple. The power contained within it even made Guu Yuina, who was only half a step away from restoring her god-level combat power, feel a slight tremor in her heart. This is the foundation of a million-year-old soul beast. Once its million-year foundation is unleashed, it can reach the level of a god in a short period of time. Guu Yuina's eyes remained unchanged, and her body flashed with silver light, directly transforming into the true form of the Silver Dragon King. A silver light pierced the sky, and silver scales shimmered on the surface of the deep sea. Dragon, God, transformation. The next instant, a 9-colored halo descended from the sky, enveloping her body and Lu Chen's body as well. Their auras and powers subtly merged at that moment, nourishing and amplifying each other. And an even more powerful aura was quietly brewing. The three-eyed golden lion, far away in Tiando City, seemed to sense something. It looked towards the direction of Sea God Island. A golden light flashed between its brows, and the golden dragon spear tore through space and disappeared. With another flash of golden light, the golden dragon spear appeared in Guu Yuina's hand. On the gun barrel, a silver dragon phantom slowly coiled, and in an instant it was stained with a 9-colored halo, turning into 9 colors, and the aura emanating from the gun barrel soared wildly. The 9-colored dragon spear shone brightly, exuding unprecedented majesty. The entire world was instantly transformed into 9 colors. At this moment, Guu Yuina, who was suspended in midair, had transformed into a 9-colored female war goddess, with a huge 9-colored dragon shadow floating behind her. A 9-colored halo flashed, and in the next instant, the figure of the goddess of war appeared in front of the deep-sea demon whale king. The deep-sea demon whale king wanted to unleash the power within his body, but found himself unable to move, and even his mental energy was frozen. His eyes were filled with disbelief. A million years of pride and heritage seemed as insignificant as an ant at this moment. Guu Yuina pointed her spear forward and thrust it out like lightning. The instant she thrust out, 9 colorful light bands instantly appeared around her and merged into the spear. Beneath her feet, an extremely beautiful and intricate pattern appeared. No, I am the overlord of the deep sea. A million-year-old soul beast, how could I be defeated here? The deep-sea demon whale king let out a desperate roar. The 9-colored dragon spear pierced the chest of the deep-sea demon whale king without any resistance. The gem with the vortex inside shattered into countless black fragments the moment the spear touched it, dissipating into the 9-colored halo. Millions of years of cultivation poured out like a flood bursting its banks. The massive body of the deep-sea demon whale king withered away at a visible speed. The madness in his eyes gradually faded, leaving only deep-seated fear and resentment. Guu Yuina's eyes remained cold and aloof. With a slight twist of her wrist, the 9-colored dragon spear gently flicked the body of the deep-sea demon whale king, tearing it apart into countless black specks of light. His millions of years of accumulated power and aura were completely devoured and purified by the 9-colored halo. The once mighty deep-sea demon whale king, who instilled fear in countless powerful figures across the Douluo continent, vanished without a trace under the Silver Dragon King's spear, leaving not even a remnant soul behind. Above the sea, the purple spatial vortex gradually dissipated, the raging sea breeze became gentle, and the colorful halo that filled the sky slowly receded. The 9-colored dragon spear in Guu Yuina's hand transformed back into the golden dragon spear. With a gentle tap, the golden dragon spear vanished once more. A 9-colored halo trembled, and Guu Yuina and Lu Chen's figures separated. Lu Chen had now reverted to his human form. He looked at Guu Yuina and asked, "You, how did you get here?" Guu Yuina suppressed the inexplicable emotions welling up inside her, turned her face away with feigned indifference, and said with a hint of barely perceptible arrogance in her tone, "Come whenever you want, what? You have a problem with that?" As she spoke, a flash of silver light appeared in her palm, and a purple bone rose from the enormous corpse of the deep-sea demon whale king. It was something similar to a spine, except that it was connected to other bones, which was the body's soul bone. It is entirely purple and lustrous, as if it were cast from amethyst. Most strangely, the energy it releases forms a small purple vortex that supports it. It is the nearly million-year-old torso bone of the deep-sea demon whale king. Guu Yuina glanced at Lu Chen's chest, then seemed to disgustedly move the soul bone away from herself. This is my reward for my actions. As soon as she finished speaking, ripples appeared in the space around Guu Yuina once again, and a spatial rift quietly emerged. Before Lu Chen could react, her figure had already stepped into the crevice and disappeared instantly. Looking at the remaining silver-purple power in the air, Lu Chen suddenly felt a sense of emptiness in his heart for some reason. His gaze fell upon the corpse of the deep-sea demon whale king. He wondered if it was because of Guu Yuina's intervention, but the energy that should have dissipated formed a purple vortex above the corpse. The vortex slowly rotated, radiating powerful energy fluctuations. However, Lu Chen did not rush to absorb the 900,000-year-old soul ring. Instead, he went straight to the corpse of the deep-sea demon whale king. He gripped the Asura demon sword and exerted tremendous force, the sharp blade slicing open the incredibly hard skull of the deep-sea demon whale king. A rich and intense fragrance wafted out from the opening, giving one a sense of tranquility and joy. With a flick of the magic sword, the head of the deep-sea demon whale king was ripped off. Instantly, a dazzling golden light burst forth from the breach in its head, illuminating the entire sea surface. Chapter 366 The Ninth Soul Ring. A million-year soul ring. It should be noted that the deep-sea demon whale king has an extremely large body. Its head alone is more than 10 square meters in size. But after opening its skull, the whale brain inside is less than 1 square meter. However, the rich aroma emanated from this whale brain, which was less than 1 square meter in size. Whale brain is a pure gold color and has a paste-like texture, like molten gold, with a rich and extremely enticing aroma. In the very center of the whale brain, a fist-sized bead, radiating a purplish gold hue, lay quietly. A glint flashed in Lu Chen's eyes, and he raised his right hand, unleashing a powerful suction force. The purple gold whale pearl instantly broke free from the whale brain's restraints, transforming into a stream of light that landed steadily in his palm. Whale pearls feel soft and warm to the touch, like an egg yolk, only much larger. Although they feel soft and warm to the touch, the outer skin of a whale pearl is actually quite tough, and it is not easy to break it. The inside of this soft whale pearl is not liquid, but rather it is very soft overall, like a gel. The brains of sea spirit beasts that are over 100,000 years old will evolve and become a special kind of medicinal material. This medicinal material is extremely nourishing for any living creature and contains a huge amount of energy, which can play many roles. A hint of joy flashed in Lu Chen's eyes. This deep-sea demon whale king has cultivated for 1,000,000 years. With the help of the deep-sea demon whale king's whale pearl, I might be able to open the 16th seal of the Golden Dragon King. Once the decision was made, Lu Chen no longer hesitated and cut off the entire whale brain, stuffing it into the Rui 100 treasures pouch. Then, the dragon wings on its back suddenly unfolded, and with a flap of the wings, it rushed straight towards the deep purple energy vortex. The Asura demon sword trembled incessantly, and with a flash of crimson gold light, it directly brought Lu Chen into the seemingly extremely powerful purple vortex. The next instant, the purple vortex surged in like a vast ocean, joining the Asura demon sword in Lu Chen's body. Lu Chen felt an unprecedented force crash into his meridians, not to mention controlling his own energy to resist it. At this moment, he was even unable to make any countermeasures. A deafening roar suddenly exploded in my mind, leaving my mind completely blank. At the same time, an even more powerful force flowed continuously into his dantian along the blade of the Asura demon sword. The Shura demon sword vibrated faster and faster, and the hum it emitted changed from low to high, like the roar of an ancient Shura, resounding throughout the entire deep sea. Buzz! A sword cry that shook the heavens and the earth suddenly erupted, and the Asura demon sword hovered 3 jong above his head. The demonic patterns on the sword body lit up completely, piercing through the clouds. Its power is vast and boundless. The seawater surrounding Lu Chen was forced back thousands of meters by this terrifying force, creating a vacuum zone. The deep purple energy vortex had completely dissipated, and all the energy had merged into the Asura demon sword in Lu Chen's body. The golden purple halo spread out layer by layer, enveloping his body. Well, Lu Chen let out a low groan. His previously blank mind gradually cleared up. The intense pain in his meridians was still clear, but it was no longer an unbearable tearing sensation. Instead, it was a kind of soreness that felt like breaking and then rebuilding. He circulated the three major soul cores within his body, guiding the violent purple energy to slowly settle and refine. The Asura demon sword seemed to sense his thoughts, and the sword body hovering above his head tilted slightly. A stream of crimson gold sword energy flowed down, surging into his body through his brow, gradually calming the violent power and slowly merging it into his three soul cores. Seeing this, Lu Chen flicked the whale pearl with his fingertip and bit it into his mouth. With his current physique, let alone this whale pearl, if he wanted, he could even directly devour the deep-sea demon whale king. With a slight exertion of the teeth, a soft snap was made, and the tough outer layer of the whale pearl was easily bitten through. A golden liquid, several times more concentrated than whale brain, gushed out instantly, sliding down his throat and into his stomach. It had no fishy smell at all, but instead carried a refreshing sweetness that melted in his throat. The moment the elixir entered his stomach, Lu Chen's whole body trembled violently. A life force and soul force that was far purer and more powerful than the energy vortex of the deep-sea demon whale king spread wildly along his meridians. The golden purple aura around Lu Chen grew increasingly intense, even faintly condensing into blurry, enormous whale phantoms. An even more terrifying aura surged forth, causing the entire deep sea to tremble slightly. The sea spirit beasts lurking in the distance, intending to pick up the scraps, trembled with fear and fled in disarray. Concentrate, refine. Lu Chen's eyes were closed, and a faint golden light flickered between his brows. The three soul cores within his body were operating wildly, like three high-speed rotating vortexes, absorbing all the energy from the whale pearl and the purple energy he had previously refined. The Asura demon sword trembled incessantly above his head, the demonic patterns on the sword became increasingly clear, and the crimson gold sword light and golden purple energy halo intertwined, with the sound of sword cries ringing out incessantly. As time passed, the whale bead in Lu Chen's mouth gradually shrank, eventually transforming into a pure energy that he refined completely. Meanwhile, the soul power within his body was surging at an alarming rate, and the three soul cores in his dantian were becoming increasingly solid. The golden purple aura surrounding him dyed the entire vacuum area with golden and purple hues. One by one, spirit rings slowly emerged on the Asura demon sword. On the 8th spirit ring, a purple gold spirit ring slowly appeared. Just then, that majestic voice rang out in Lu Chen's mind once again. Open black lens bracket the God King's 9 trials, 6th trial. Slay the deep-sea demon whale king, a soul beast with a lifespan of 999,999 years. Completed. The 5th trial has ended. Reward: 1 God-given soul ring. The lifespan of all soul rings has been increased by 30,000 years. Close black lens bracket. Asura God's affinity increased by 20%. Destruction God's affinity increased by 20%. Current total Asura God's affinity, 70%. Destruction God's affinity, 60%. The moment the sound faded, a crimson gold beam of light descended from the sky. It shot straight into Lu Chen's body. Lu Chen shuddered, and the three soul cores that were running wildly suddenly accelerated. The golden light between his brows became even more intense, as if a small sun was slowly rising. At this moment, the crimson gold sword light on the Asura demon sword surged, and the sword's cry reached its highest point, as if cheering for Lu Chen's transformation. 8 spirit rings have clearly appeared on the sword, and the age of the first 7 spirit rings has increased dramatically with the help of the reward. The most eye-catching thing was the 9th spirit ring that slowly emerged, radiating a purple gold aura, a spirit ring with a lifespan of 999,999 years. It's just one step away from becoming a true million-year spirit ring. At this moment, the rewards for Incria, Sing the age of the spirit ring flowed into this golden spirit ring like rivers flowing into the sea. The purple gold aura on the spirit ring began to slowly fade, replaced by a dazzling crimson gold color that was so bright that it was impossible to look directly at it. The size of the spirit ring was also expanding wildly. The originally slender ring gradually became wide and heavy, and Meister IOUS and ancient patterns began to appear on its surface. Each line contains terrifying energy, subtly echoing the demonic runes on the Asura demon sword. Chapter 367 The 16th Seal of the Golden Dragon King. Buzz. A deep, resonant hum did not come from the Asura demon sword, but from Lu Chen's ninth soul ring. The buzzing sound reverberated throughout the deep sea, even shaking the clouds in the sky, causing them to churn violently, and creating towering waves in the distant sea. Finally, at the moment when the limit was broken through 1 million, the entire spirit ring suddenly erupted with a world-destroying power. A burst of crimson gold light erupted, dyeing the entire deep sea a crimson gold color. The Asura demon sword paused abruptly, then emitted an unprecedentedly high-pitched sword cry. Boundless killing intent condensed on the sword, forming a huge crimson gold sword shadow that shot straight into the sky, piercing the heavens and earth as if it would split the world in two. Soul power also increased rapidly at this moment. 91, 92, 93, 94, 95. Lu Chen slowly opened his eyes. His eyes were already shrouded in a faint crimson gold halo. His gaze was sharp as a sword, yet it also carried a sense of composure and majesty as if he were looking down upon the world. He could clearly feel that his power had broken through to a completely new level. It's time to break the 16th seal. These final 3 seals contain the true power of the Golden Dragon King, which is also his god-level power. At this moment, Lu Chen was already able to withstand the impact of the 16th seal. With a thought, Lu Chen summoned the Asura demon sword beside him, which transformed into a streak of crimson gold light and flew into his sea of consciousness from between his brows. Cut. Lu Chen's thoughts transformed into a thunderclap, resounding throughout the entire sea of consciousness. Before he finished speaking, the Asura demon sword suddenly swelled tens of thousands of times, transforming into a towering, crimson gold giant sword that shot straight toward the 16th sealing pattern. The Asura demon sword swept forward with unstoppable force, carrying a world-destroying power, and slammed into the 16th sealing pattern. Snap! A crisp yet piercing cracking sound resounded throughout the sea of the spirit. The 5 chains broke one after another, and a wisp of golden light quietly overflowed. The light seemed weak, but it carried an indescribable pressure. Even a wisp of it caused Lu Chen's soul power to tremble slightly, and ripples to spread across the sword domain of his spiritual sea. A fiery golden red light erupted like a geyser. Lu Chen's spiritual sea instantly transformed into a golden red ocean, and a gigantic golden claw emerged from the seal. Roar! A dragon's roar that shook the very soul erupted from the depths of the seal, as if a king who had been sleeping for countless ages was finally about to break free of his shackles and return to the world. Within the seal, a blurry yet enormous figure slowly emerged. The figure was formed entirely from pure golden dragon energy, its form towering like a mountain. Even though it was just a remnant soul phantom, it still had the power to blot out the sky. Above the dragon's head, 2 golden horns pierced the sky. Its eyes were closed, yet it still exuded an aura of dominance over the world, as if all things in the world were nothing more than ants in its eyes. I have slumbered for eternity, and have finally awakened. The remnant soul of the Golden Dragon King slowly opened its eyes. In an instant, 2 scarlet beams of light shot out from its eyes, piercing through Lu Chen's sea of consciousness and soaring straight into the sky. Those eyes were filled with violence and destructive rage, like a dormant volcano that would erupt at the slightest touch, turning the entire world to ashes. Little guy, you were able to break my 16th seal and withstand my power. You were much stronger than I expected. The voice of the remnant soul of the Golden Dragon King rang out again. It's just right to serve as my new body. Just then, a clear and distant dragon's roar slowly drifted over, piercing through the thick seawater, resounding throughout the entire deep sea, and also penetrating Lu Chen's spiritual sea. Outside, Lu Chen struggled to open his eyes, gazing at the sky above the deep sea, a look of joy suddenly appearing in his eyes. Above the sky, a silver-white streak of light transformed into Guu Yuina, who emerged from the air and then swooped down, instantly arriving beside Lu Chen. As the light faded, a hint of helplessness flashed in Guu Yuina's purple eyes. You really like to act recklessly, rushing to break the seal before even stabilizing yourself. Guu Yuina. Lu Chen's voice trembled slightly. Guu Yuina turned her head to look at Lu Chen, a hint of gentleness appearing in her usually cold eyes, and she nodded slightly. She slowly approached Lu Chen, then leaned forward slightly, wrapped her arms around his waist, and gently pressed her slightly cool forehead against his. The moment the two touched, a tiny, nine-colored light suddenly shone from between their brows. The faint light, initially as weak as a star, suddenly expanded. With 9 colors intertwining and transforming into a dazzling 9-colored light shield that tightly enveloped her and Lu Chen. 9-colored light flowed down their foreheads, which were touching, and slowly entered Lu Chen's brow like a stream. Without any obstruction, it went straight into his sea of consciousness. The sea of spirit, which had been agitated by the awakening of the remnant soul of the Golden Dragon King, was instantly enveloped by a gentle yet powerful force, and the surging golden-red waves gradually calmed down. He could clearly sense a cold yet familiar figure, following the 9-colored light. Step by step, entering the depths of his soul, Guu Yuina's figure slowly solidified in the 9-colored light. She still had that aloof and beautiful appearance, her purple eyes were calm and unwavering. And she showed no fear when she looked at the remnant soul of the Golden Dragon King. Silver Dragon King, how dare you ruin my plans? I have been your sworn enemy ever since the Dragon God split apart. Upon seeing Guu Yuina, the Golden Dragon King's eyes flashed with ferocity. His crimson gaze fixed on the two of them as he roared, "Today, I will devour this little brat first, then annihilate you. And thus achieve the position of Dragon God." Yeah, Guu Yuina came to Lu Chen's side. Before Lu Chen could speak, her fingertips gently touched Lu Chen's cheek. And all the coldness in her purple eyes disappeared. She tiptoed slightly, and her soft lips gently touched Lu Chen's lips. Without any lingering tenderness, the instant their lips touched, 2D. Ragan roars resounded throughout the heavens and earth. One was clear and distant, like silver light falling from the heavens, the other was powerful and domineering, like thunder rumbling from the netherworld. Lu Chen subconsciously put his arm around Guu Yuina's waist, and in the next instant, a 9-colored halo enveloped their bodies. Guu Yuina's figure gradually became ethereal, eventually merging into Lu Chen's body. Lu Chen's body suddenly swelled, and the crimson gold dragon scales gradually transformed into 9-colored scales, each scale dazzling and indestructible. Behind him, a pair of enormous 9-colored dragon wings slowly unfurled, spanning thousands of feet, blotting out the sky and causing ripples to spread through the void wherever the wingtips passed. The Asura demon sword landed in his hand, and at this moment it had lost its pure crimson gold color, with 9-colored divine light wrapped around its body. The murderous aura and divine might plunged the entire world into deathly silence. The sound of swords no longer rang out loudly, but instead carried a solemn and weighty tone, as if judging all things. Lu Chen's eyes turned completely 9-colored as he looked down at the restless remnant soul of the Golden Dragon King in the sea of consciousness below. His eyes were now devoid of any emotion, only absolute majesty and determination. Chapter 368 The Seventh Trial of the Gods. You wicked creature, unrepentant, yet you dare to wreak havoc on heaven and earth. Today, in the name of the Dragon God, I will annihilate your remnant soul. Lu Chen's voice was like a thunderclap from the heavens, resounding throughout the sea of consciousness. Before he finished speaking, he slowly raised his right hand and grasped the 9-colored Asura demon sword beside him. With a slight exertion of his arm, the 9-colored divine light instantly surged, transforming into 9 enormous beams of light that coiled around the sword blade. Upon seeing this, the remnant soul of the Golden Dragon King in the Sea of Spirit let out a furious dragon roar, its scarlet eyes filled with fear and resentment. He suddenly unleashed the remaining dragon power within him, transforming it into a gigantic golden dragon shadow, bearing its fangs and claws, lunging towards Lu Chen's soul. Impossible! I am the Golden Dragon King. I will devour you. I will return to the world and rule over heaven and earth. Overestimating one's abilities. Lu Chen snorted coldly, and in a flash, he appeared above the Sea of Spirit. With a gentle flap of his 9-colored dragon wings, he stirred up a sky full of 9-colored divine winds, instantly tearing apart the golden dragon energy stirred up by the remnant soul of the golden dragon king. He gripped the sword with both hands and raised it high above his head. The 9-colored Asura demon sword was held above his head, and the 9-colored divine light converged into a pillar of light that shot straight up to the dome of the Sea of Spirit, dyeing the entire Sea of Spirit with 9 colors. Dragon God's Judgment. With a deep shout, Lu Chen used both hands to forcefully slash down the 9-colored Asura demon sword. A 9-colored sword beam, 10,000 feet long, suddenly erupted, carrying the power to destroy the world and the determination to judge all things, and slashed fiercely at the golden dragon shadow. Wherever the sword light passed, the sea of consciousness trembled violently, and all the violent aura was instantly torn apart and devoured. No, the remnant soul of the golden dragon king let out a desperate wail. He tried to mobilize all his remaining power to resist, but found that his dragon power was like an ant trying to shake a tree in front of the 9-colored sword light, and was no match for it. Impossible. I am the golden dragon king. The 9-colored sword light instantly pierced through his golden dragon shadow, tearing his remnant soul into countless fragments. Before those fragments could dissipate, they were enveloped by the 9-colored divine light and gradually devoured and annihilated. The moment the last remnant soul of the golden dragon king was annihilated, the 9-colored divine light within Lu Chen's body gradually receded. The 9-colored scales slowly faded away, and the 9-colored dragon wings gradually shrank, eventually transforming into a stream of 9-colored light that merged into his body. Outside, Lu Chen slowly opened his eyes. The 9 colors in his eyes gradually faded, and the 8 crimson gold blood soul rings beside him shone as brightly as 8 small suns. Behind them, a golden dragon soared into the sky, carrying an incomparably scorching aura, like a golden sun, instantly illuminating the earth with unparalleled brightness. The golden dragon spread its wings and let out a series of earth-shaking roars. Guu Yuina's figure slowly emerged from between his brows, her face slightly pale, yet her eyes still gentle. With Lu Chen's strength, he was no match for the backlash from the dragon god transformation. Guu Yuina bore almost all of the backlash alone. The moment their eyes met, their bodies trembled slightly. They had just used the martial soul fusion technique in their spiritual sea, and in that instant when their souls were connected, all their emotions and concerns were left unsaid, all merging into that single gaze. Are you all right? Lu Chen took out a jade green pill from his storage soul tool and handed it to Guu Yuina. Guu Yuina didn't take it, but looked up at him with a gentle smile in her eyes. Then she opened her mouth slightly and swallowed the pill. The pill melted instantly upon entering the throat, and a gentle, refreshing medicinal power swept through the entire body via the meridians. Lu Chen's heart trembled as he looked at Guu Yuina, and he gently put his arms around her. Guu Yuina didn't flinch. Instead, she instinctively took a step forward and gently nestled into his arms. Feeling the warm body in his arms, Lu Chen's heart warmed, and he lowered his head to gently kiss her lips. The moment their lips touched, their souls resonated slightly once again. A golden light shone from Lu Chen's chest, and a silver light emerged from Guu Yuina's chest. The golden and silver lights slowly intertwined and merged, eventually forming a small, 9-colored vortex that gently enveloped the two of them. The remaining backlash within Guu Yuina's body gradually dissipated under the nourishment of this power. A moment later, the two slowly separated, their noses still touching, their breaths mingling. A rare blush appeared on Guu Yuina's face. Lu Chen raised his hand and gently tidied the messy silver hair on either side of her face. Later, we'll be. Before Lu Chen could finish speaking, Guu Yuina gently pressed her index finger against his lips and smiled. Let's talk about this after you become a god. As she spoke, she tilted her head slightly, her lips seemingly reluctantly touching Lu Chen's lips lightly. Goodbye. The next second, a silver-purple light shone, enveloping Guu Yuina's figure. When the light dissipated, her figure had completely disappeared from the spot, as if she had never existed. Guu Yuina. Lu Chen's outstretched hand froze in midair, his breath still lingering on his fingertips, but the delicate E-body in his arms had vanished without a trace, leaving not even a trace of breath behind. Just then, a silver-purple light suddenly shone from Lu Chen's chest, and a silver dragon scale pendant slowly appeared. With a faint seven-colored silver glow flowing on it, and it felt warm to the touch. Looking at the unusual dragon scale, Lu Chen murmured, "Is this the reverse scale of a silver dragon?" The silver dragon's reverse scale is a primordial object separated from Guu Yuina after the seal was broken, containing the primordial power of creation. When the holder is in danger, the silver dragon King Guu Yuina can sense it. And Guu Yuina can use this item to come to the holder's side. Lu Chen, I'm so glad you're all right. Xiao Bai's voice came from afar. Lu Chen snapped out of his daze, smiled calmly at her, and said, "The corpse of this deep-sea demon whale king is now your demon soul great white shark clan." Upon hearing this, Xiao Bai's eyes lit up immediately. Really, it's important to know that the deep-sea demon whale king is a treasure trove, although most of its essence was absorbed by Lu Chen. The remaining bones, scales, and essence blood also contain immense power. Enough for the demon soul great white shark clan to cultivate diligently and reach a higher level in the ocean. Really? Lu Chen nodded gently, his tone firm. Just then, the authoritative voice rang out again. Open black lens bracket the seventh of the 9 trials of the God King. To complete the trials of the 7 gods of the 7 original sins. The god of greed, the god of sloth, the god of pride, the god of envy, the god of gluttony, the god of lust, and the god of wrath. Close black lens bracket. This time, why wasn't there a time limit? Just as Lu Chen was wondering, a low humming sound suddenly came from behind him. Lu Chen froze, instinctively turning his head to look, his pupils suddenly contracting. Behind him, the previously empty void was now rippling with twisted waves. At the center of the ripples, a pitch-black vortex, faintly swirling with purplish-black light, was taking shape and expanding at a visible speed. An irresistible suction force swept in from the center of the vortex, instantly enveloping Lu Chen's body. No matter how he struggled, his soul power was like a stone sinking into the sea, unable to budge him in the slightest. Open black lens bracket. The test begins. Close black lens bracket. Lu Chen knew he had no way out. He turned to look in Xiao Bai's direction and said loudly, "Xiao Bai, tell Xiao Wu that I've gone to take the divine exam. Wait for me to come back." As soon as he finished speaking, the terrifying suction suddenly surged. And Lu Chen's figure was instantly pulled into the whirlpool and disappeared above the sea surface. All that remained were the endless, churning waves. Chapter 369 The Test of the God of Greed. Lu Chen falls. Meanwhile, in the realm of gods, dark clouds filled the sky above the pitch-black castle, and occasionally a purple lightning bolt would strike the castle, casting a deep purple halo over it. Even any deity who comes here will feel a distinct sense of oppression. This place is where many gods have vanished, and it is filled with immense destructive intent. Inside the castle, the King of Destruction sat high on his divine throne, looking at Lu Chen in the water mirror with eyes full of admiration. He thought for a moment, then said to the void beside him, "Greed. Go and test Lu Chen first." Yes. As the void trembled, a dark figure silently merged into it. A violent wave of dizziness swept over Lu Chen's body, and he heard howling winds and the shrill sound of the void being torn apart. Lu Chen felt his soul power being imprisoned by an invisible force. Only when a gentle yet firm force held him firmly in place did the suffocating pulling sensation suddenly dissipate. He suddenly opened his eyes, a hint of wariness flashing in them. The ground was black, but it wasn't rock or soil. On the undulating islands, plants grew, but these plants were also black. The trees growing on this island are mostly coniferous. It looked lush and green. The only slightly depressing thing was that all the trees, vegetation, and even the earth were black, pitch black. It is awe-inspiring, as if haunted by ghostly figures. Lu Chen looked around and found that the so-called plants had no signs of life, and even his soul power and spiritual power were completely sealed. This place is actually a forbidden area. Some places, due to their special nature, were punished by the gods and thus became forbidden lands. It has been stripped of all possibility of life. No primordial energy of heaven and earth can form in such a place. This is the testing ground for the 7 deadly sins. Lu Chen slowly straightened up, his soul power circulating. Slowly as he tentatively sensed his surroundings. Not far away was a dark forest. Lu Chen walked over quickly. When he placed his palm on a big tree, it was icy cold to the touch. Not only was there no sign of life, but a strong sense of death instantly rose up. "You've finally arrived," a sharp voice rang in Lu Chen's ears. Lu Chen looked up and saw that the speaker was a thin man with an unusually large head and a cold, eerie light in his eyes. The man emanated a dark golden light, the radiance carrying an overwhelming and terrifying aura, with 7 dark golden halos behind him. A first-level deity. Lu Chen immediately cupped his hands and said, "Junior greets senior. May I ask which of the 7 original sins gods you are?" The first-level deity tilted slightly, refusing Lu Chen's bow. He looked at Lu Chen and slowly uttered 2 words, "Greed." As soon as he finished speaking, a strange aura suddenly emanated from the god of greed. That aura had a somewhat oppressive or even insane feel to it. The god of greed looked at Lu Chen and was immediately at a loss. As a subordinate of the god of destruction, how could he not know that the human boy in front of him was the apple of his master's eye and the apple of his eye? If one's own test is too difficult, the new ruler in the future will inevitably hold a grudge against this time. Thinking of this, the god of greed sighed softly, and spread his right hand with 5 fingers in front of Lu Chen. "Since that's the case, I'll grant you a fleeting dream." Lu Chen felt a blur before his eyes, and the dark, forbidden land around him suddenly shattered, disappearing without a trace like broken glass. Instead, he found himself in a scene he knew all too well, Notting College. Just as he was lost in thought, a familiar voice rang in his ears. "Chener, it's all right. Even if you don't have soul power, Grandpa will never let anyone bully you." Lu Chen was startled and turned his head sharply, only to see Lu Jinian's eyes filled with tenderness and determination. He subconsciously activated the power within his body, only to find that he couldn't even sense a trace of soul power. This body was simply too fragile to withstand a single blow. Lu Jinian patted his shoulder with a smile and said gently, "Silly child, what are you standing there for? Come on, Grandpa will take you to eat your favorite sweet cake." With Grandpa around, no one will dare to laugh at you anymore. Lu Chen remained silent. What exactly is the test from the god of greed? As Lu Jinian spoke, he took Lu Chen's hand and walked towards the academy gate. Just then, a teacher rushed over in a panic. As soon as he saw Lu Jinian, he said urgently, "Dean, something terrible has happened. A fallen soul master has attacked the academy." The smile on Lu Jinian's face faded, and a hint of seriousness flashed in his eyes. He looked at Lu Chen behind him and said in a deep voice, "Chener, wait for me here." Before he could finish speaking, the teacher's chest suddenly exploded, and a bloody hand pierced through his chest. Blood splattered all over the ground, and the stench instantly filled the air, making Lu Chen's throat tighten. "Court death!" Lu Jinian roared, and his body suddenly erupted with earth-yellow soul power. He slapped the dark figure hiding behind the teacher with his backhand. A dark figure darted out from behind the corpse, hovering in midair, surrounded by dark soul power, wearing a ferocious mask, and its eyes flashing with bloodlust. 7 soul rings, 2 yellow, 2 purple, and 3 black, surround his body. Lu Chen frowned slightly. The Lu Jinian in front of him was no match for this person. The fallen soul master sneered, his voice hoarse. "Lu Jinian, I didn't expect you to be hiding here. Today is your death day." Lu Chen's eyes turned cold, and a murderous intent surged within them. Even though he knew it was fake, he still wouldn't allow anyone to harm his family. A black scimitar appeared in the fallen soul master's hand, and with a flick of his wrist, a jet-black blade aura several meters long attacked Lu Jinian. Lu Jinian's eyes widened in anger, his earth-yellow soul power surged. His first soul ring lit up, and the Xuanwang cauldron shone brightly. A layer of earth-based barrier instantly enveloped Lu Jinian, while also protecting Lu Chen behind him. With a crisp crack, the seemingly solid earth barrier shattered instantly. Lu Jinian's pupils contracted sharply, and he instinctively put his body in front of Lu Chen to shield him. Puff! The pitch-black blade energy slashed fiercely into Lu Jinian's chest, and his earth-yellow soul power instantly dissipated, sending him flying backward like a kite with a broken string. Fourth soul skill, Earth Guardian. Under Lu Jinian's control, the Xuanwang cauldron flew straight toward Lu Chen, transforming into an earth-yellow protective shield that enveloped him. Grandfather. Lu Chen felt a surge of anxiety and was about to rush over. Chen'er, don't come any closer, run. Lu Jinian raised his hand with difficulty, his voice hoarse. Grandpa, if I can protect you just this once. I'll protect you just this once. After saying that, Lu Jinian fainted. The fallen soul master gripped his black scimitar and walked step by step toward Lu Jinian, a blood-thirsty grin curling at the corner of his mouth beneath his mask. What are you thinking about now? The outside is full of my men, where can you escape to? Lu Chen trembled all over at the sight, his fingernails digging deep into his palms, drawing blood. Despite constantly telling himself that it was all fake, he was still filled with pain and helplessness. He stared intently at the fallen soul master, his eyes surging with overwhelming killing intent. Just then, a cold voice rang in his mind. Do you want power? Do you want to protect the people you cherish most? As long as you are willing to fall, willing to sacrifice your conscience and light, I will give you infinite power. Degeneration. Lu Chen smiled faintly. If this was the only way here, then he had only one choice. I'm willing. Chapter 370 The God of Sloth. As soon as he finished speaking, a jet-black power erupted from his body, sweeping across the entire Nodding Academy. That power was cold, evil, yet incredibly powerful. Lu Chen's eyes turned pure black, and his body was surrounded by a dense evil soul power. What kind of power is this? The fallen soul master's face was filled with horror, and his eyes were filled with fear. Lu Chen didn't speak. His evil soul power surged suddenly. He flashed and appeared in front of him. He condensed a jet of dark soul power at his fingertips and Tly touched the fallen soul master's brow. The evil soul master was instantly devoured by the soul power. Before he could even scream, he turned into a pool of black water and completely disappeared into the world. Kill. Lu Chen looked at the fallen soul master outside, and then disappeared from the spot in a flash. His figure weaved through the evil spirit masters, and wherever his dark soul power passed, the evil spirit masters were instantly killed. Screams and the sounds of soul power shattering rose and fell, but they could not shake Lu Chen's heart in the slightest. He had only one thought at that moment. Kill all the fallen soul masters and protect Grandpa. When the last fallen soul master was torn to pieces by Lu Chen, the ground of Nodding Academy was covered in blood. After confirming that Lu Jinian was out of danger, Lu Chen stood among the corpses, his eyes filled with indifference. Although he exuded an evil aura, it could not shake Lu Chen's mind in the slightest. He quietly waited for the voice of the God of Greed. Through the moment the voice of the God of Greed rang out, everything around them vanished in an instant. When Lu Chen opened his eyes, he only saw a first-level god with a fawning look in his eyes. Future Lord, congratulations on passing the test of greed. You may proceed to the next stage. The moment the myth of greed faded, the majestic voice of the god of destruction echoed in Lu Chen's mind. Open black lens bracket the God King's 9 trials, 7th trial progress, 1/7, close black lens bracket. Please come with me. As the god of greed spoke, he bowed and led the way. Always keeping a half-step distance from Lu Chen, his fawning expression undiminished. In just a few minutes, Lu Chen arrived at a vast, empty, gray-white open space. This open space has no boundaries between heaven and earth. No sun, moon and stars, and not even the wind has stirred it. My lord, we have arrived. The god of greed stopped and softened his tone slightly. That fat man in front is the god of sloth. And also the examiner for the second test of your 7th trial. Lu Chen looked in the direction he indicated and saw a soft couch made of clouds leaning against the wall in the center of the open space, with a blurry figure lying on it. He was a very fat man with eyes that seemed to be half open and half closed. He emitted a dark green light, and a dark green 7-ringed halo floated behind him. Lazy. I've brought the person with me. As soon as Greed finished speaking, the god of sloth slowly rose, yawned, and walked slowly toward Lu Chen. His body was swaying, and he looked like he was about to fall asleep at any moment. With each step the god of sloth took, a faint dark green ripple would spread across the gray-white ground beneath his feet. Wherever the ripple passed, even the soul energy in the air would slow down. It's so noisy. The god of laziness appeared before Lu Chen, looking as listless as if he had just woken up. He lifted his eyelids, his murky eyes sweeping over Lu Chen, and then raised his right hand to rest on Lu Chen's shoulder. A layer of dark green ripples emanated from Lu Chen's shoulder. Lu Chen felt a wave of weariness wash over him, and he subconsciously activated the Golden Dragon King's bloodline. A dragon's roar resounded, and the weariness that had been creeping in instantly vanished. Wah! The god of laziness yawned and said, "You've passed." After saying that, he lay down directly on the cloud-shaped bed he had just been on. Sloth. Is that all? The god of greed looked bewildered. The god of laziness rolled over and said indifferently, "I'm too lazy to explain to you." The god of greed was about to unleash his fury. As soon as he finished speaking, dark green ripples of soul power spread around the soft couch. The ripples overlapped and enveloped the entire cloud-shaped soft couch, causing the surrounding air to become stagnant. Soon, the sound of snoring could be heard. Open black lens bracket the God King's 9 trials. 7th trial progress. 2/7. Close black lens bracket. The god of greed was furious at the sight of this, but in the end, he was helpless. Seeing this, Lu Chen asked, "Has the god of sloth always been like this?" "Well," the god of greed sighed softly and said, "No. It's because we have no choice but to do it. Just like how I, as the god of greed, am not truly greedy. Everything I show is merely the effect of my mental power and everything I control. Although I control original sin, it is not original sin itself. Although we, the 7 deadly sins, are evil gods, it is only the power we wield that is evil. Not our own nature. We still possess a solemn and holy aspect as deities." As the god of greed spoke, he led Lu Chen to the next trial site. Lu Chen nodded slightly, his doubts dissipating. "Let's go, my lord." The god of greed composed himself and bowed again to lead the way. "The next test, the third one, is the test of the god of gluttony. That fellow is a glutton." As the two moved, the gray-white open space around them gradually distorted, and the originally stagnant air began to flow. A rich aroma mixed with the scent of food slowly entered Lu Chen's nose along with the wind. "We're almost there, my lord." The god of greed slowed his pace and explained, "The territory of that glutton is filled with food he has hoarded. The food may look ordinary, but it has been infused with his gluttonous soul power. Once you accidentally eat it, you will fall into an endless illusion of gluttony and be unable to escape." As soon as he finished speaking, his surrounding environment completely changed. The gray and white empty space disappeared and was replaced by an endless feast of delicious food. Fine wine flowed like a river, delicacies piled up like mountains, roasted meat, golden and glistening, emitted an enticing aroma, and crystal-clear spiritual fruits hung from the branches. Every dish exuded a rich soul energy fluctuation. In the center of this culinary feast, a grotesque, monstrous-looking man with a grotesque face and a large belly sat there. The god of gluttony was 3 meters tall, with a pair of small eyes, and his whole body emitted a strong dark yellow light. The 7 halo rings behind his head were also dark yellow. Just then, the god of gluttony suddenly raised his head, his eyes fixed on Lu Chen, food crumbs still hanging from the corner of his mouth. "You've finally arrived. Your test is to eat all the food here." As soon as he finished speaking, the god of gluttony patted his round belly with a loud thump. And dark yellow divine power of gluttony spread from his fingertips, enveloping the entire feast of food. The aroma of those already incredibly tempting foods instantly intensifies several times over. Lu Chen looked at the food scattered all over the ground and smiled. "Are you sure?" Chapter 371 The God of Gluttony. The god of gluttony thought Lu Chen was in a dilemma, so he waved his hand and said, "Actually, eating half is fine too." He didn't want to offend this future destroyer and Asura god king. Seeing that Lu Chen remained silent, the god of gluttony rubbed his chubby hands together. His small eyes full of flattery, his tone softened, and he took another step back. "If all else fails, a few bites will do. Rest assured, my lord, the food here contains pure soul power. Eating it will not only not harm you, but will also nourish your body and soul, without any harm whatsoever. Lu Chen merely glanced at the god of gluttony and said indifferently, "No need. We're already here, we should at least experience it." Upon hearing this, both the god of gluttony and the god of greed beside him were stunned, their faces filled with disbelief. The god of gluttony blinked his small eyes, wondering if he had misheard, and quickly asked, "My lord, you mean?" Lu Chen glanced at the entire feast of food, his pure black eyes showing no hesitation, his tone calm yet carrying an undeniable firmness. "Naturally, I will eat all the food here." "Really?" The god of gluttony was overjoyed, and the fawning on his face instantly became genuine. His chubby face was full of smiles. "My lord is wise. Rest assured, my lord, these foods are all made from spiritual materials that I have spent 1,000 years collecting. Every bite contains a vast amount of pure soul power, and you will definitely not be disappointed." Lu Chen didn't say anything more. With a swift movement, he arrived in front of the mountain of delicacies. Without the slightest restraint, he picked up a piece of roasted golden brown meat. As soon as he touched it, a wisp of warm soul energy seeped into his body through his fingertips, nourishing his meridians. "Nice one." Lu Chen opened his mouth and took a bite. The meat was tender and juicy, and the rich soul power instantly exploded in his mouth, sliding down his throat into his stomach, turning into a warm current that quickly surged to his limbs and bones. Unlike the feeling of fullness from ordinary food, these delicacies imbued with soul power melt in the mouth, transforming into pure energy that merges into Lu Chen's body. While eating, Lu Chen circulated his own soul power, quickly refining and absorbing the pure soul power that surged into his body. The god of gluttony stood aside, his eyes filled with amazement as he looked at Lu Chen. He originally thought that even if Lu Chen ate it, he could only eat a few bites before he couldn't hold on, since the energy contained in these foods was too immense, and even those high-ranking officials couldn't finish them all at once. But Lu Chen's eating speed increased faster and faster. With a wave of his hand, roasted beast meat, spiritual fruit, and fine wine were all put into his mouth without the slightest pause. Lu Chen's figure remained upright, without any sign of being overweight. All the soul power from the food he ate was precisely refined by him, without a single bit being wasted. Golden patterns flowed slowly across his body, and the aura of the Golden Dragon King's bloodline grew stronger and stronger. A faint dragon roar occasionally emanated from his body, causing the surrounding air to tremble slightly. "The power of the Golden Dragon King," the god of gluttony murmured, his gaze toward Lu Chen becoming somewhat serious. As Lu Chen continued to eat, the entire feast gradually shrank, the mountains of delicacies became fewer and fewer, the rivers of fine wine and nectar gradually dried up, and the spiritual fruits hanging on the branches were completely swept away. Meanwhile, the soul power within Lu Chen's body was also increasing at a visible speed. After an unknown amount of time, when Lu Chen finished eating the last spiritual fruit and refining the last trace of soul power in his body, the entire feast had vanished. Lu Chen slowly closed his eyes, and the 3 dragon souls within his body spun rapidly, completely fusing the energy and transforming it into his own power. A moment later, Lu Chen slowly opened his eyes. Golden light swirled in his pure black eyes before returning to normal. Lu Chen flexed his fingers, clearly feeling the surging power within his body. A faint smile appeared on his lips. "While my spiritual power and blood energy have surged, my soul power has also increased by 1 level. The 3 soul cores in his body are like 3 gluttons. Any energy that enters Lu Chen's body will be absorbed layer by layer by the 3 soul cores." The god of gluttony was completely dumbfounded, his plump body frozen in place. Muttering to himself, "Unbelievable, truly unbelievable. My lord, you actually ate it all." The god of greed, standing to the side, also stared intently at Lu Chen, his fingertips slightly curled. He had only been trying to curry favor with the god of gluttony because of Lu Chen's future divine position, but now that he had witnessed Lu Chen's terrifying talent, he truly felt awe. The god of gluttony strode up to Lu Chen, his face beaming with admiration. "My lord, congratulations on successfully passing the test of gluttony. Open black lens bracket the God King's 9 trials, 7th trial progress, 3/7, close black lens bracket." I actually have a lot more delicious food here. The god of gluttony moved closer to Lu Chen and said excitedly, why don't we go and have a taste right now? At this moment, Lu Chen was the perfect dining buddy in his eyes. The god of greed stopped the god of gluttony who worshipped him and said slowly, Gluttony, you should wait until Lu Chen becomes a god before discussing these matters. The god of gluttony said somewhat impatiently, what's the rush? It won't make a difference if it takes a little more time. Really, Lu Chen's next assessment is arrogant. As the myth of greed faded, the god of gluttony's expression froze, his eyes filled with astonishment, which then turned serious, and he even stopped rubbing his hands together. He opened his mouth, but couldn't say anything for a long time. After a while, he shrank back dejectedly, and his tone weakened. God of pride, then indeed we cannot delay. Seeing this, Lu Chen asked, God of pride, what's wrong? And nothing. The god of gluttony waved his hand, forcing a smile, and said, the god of pride, the most humble among the 7 original sin gods. Lu Chen looked at the god of gluttony speechlessly and said helplessly, if that's the case, why are your legs shaking? The god of gluttony froze in fright, his chubby legs instinctively coming together, his eyes darting away. Unable to look Lu Chen in the eye, while he still managed to say, my legs are shaking. No, my lord, you must be mistaken. Maybe I just stood there for too long and they're a little numb. Seeing this, the god of greed shook his head inwardly, ultimately deciding not to let the god of gluttony continue to deceive himself. My lord, you don't need to listen to his pretense. The god of pride is the most unruly and arrogant of the 7 original sin gods, but he only shows his arrogance to beings weaker than himself. He paused and looked at gluttony beside him, saying with some helplessness. As for why gluttony is so afraid of pride, it's probably because he swallowed pride's elixir, which pride had prepared for 1,000 years, 100 years ago, and was beaten up, leaving him with a lingering trauma. Chapter 372 The God of Arrogance. Dominating the 9 heavens. Upon hearing this, the god of gluttony patted his chest and retorted defiantly, what are you talking about? We are all first-level gods, how could I be afraid of him? You should know that among the 7 original sin gods, I am the strongest in terms of total divine power. A lazy F.A.T. man who spends all his time lying down and sleeping is also the way he cultivates. As a result, he has accumulated the most divine power. The moment gluttony finished speaking, the surrounding temperature plummeted, and a cold voice rang out, is that so? Gluttony, it seems you've already figured out how to compensate me for the pills. A very handsome man with long blonde hair appeared before the crowd. The god of arrogance's eyes were filled with disdain and contempt, and his body radiated a dark blue light. Behind him, 7 dark blue halos exuded an overwhelming and terrifying aura. The god of gluttony trembled. Then his entire body erupted with a dark yellow light. My lord, when you become a god, let's drink and make merry again. As soon as he finished speaking, the figure of the god of gluttony had vanished. HMPH. The god of pride snorted coldly, completely unconcerned about the disappearance of the god of gluttony. You are the successor chosen by the god king. He turned to look at Lu Chen and said, the test of arrogance is for you and me to fight each other at the same level. Defeat me. After the god of pride finished speaking, a bright blue light shone from his body, condensing into chains that fell upon him. In the blink of an eye, he suppressed his power to the level of a 3rd-level deity. Good. Lu Chen's expression was solemn, his voice was steady, and he showed no fear. A dragon roar full of fighting spirit rang out, and in the blink of an eye, Lu Chen had transformed into a golden dragon. 8 crimson gold soul rings surrounded his body, and a huge phantom of a golden dragon emerged from behind him. With a thought, the god of pride caused thunder to rumble around him, and dark blue lightning condensed into a halberd in his hand. Upon seeing this, the god of greed retreated while simultaneously forming hand seals, creating a dark golden barrier that formed an arena. The 2 of them flashed into the arena at the same time. The god of pride, wielding his lightning halberd, stood tall and straight as a pine tree. Come, let me see your strength. As soon as he finished speaking, the 1st and 2nd chi and blood soul rings transformed into 2 golden dragon souls and merged into Lu Chen's body. A dragon roar suddenly emanated from Lu Chen's throat. Golden dragon body. Golden Dragon Overlord Body. The crimson gold light around Lu Chen intensified, and every dragon scale shone with dazzling brilliance. The god of arrogance narrowed his eyes slightly. You have some strength. Before he finished speaking, a dark blue light flashed beneath his feet, and his figure rushed towards Lu Chen like a ghost. The lightning halberd in his hand slashed through the sky, accompanied by a piercing sound. The tip of the halberd was wrapped with crackling dark blue lightning, and it stabbed fiercely towards Lu Chen's chest. Lu Chen's dragon wings flapped, transforming him into a streak of crimson gold light as he charged toward the god of arrogance. In the blink of an eye, Lu Chen's golden dragon claw had already firmly grasped the lightning halberd in his hand. Sizzle. Dark blue lightning frantically devoured Lu Chen's dragon claws. However, Lu Chen's dragon claws remained motionless. Thick blood energy flowed across the crimson gold dragon scales, blocking the power of the lightning layer by layer. Not even the slightest trace of burn. A hint of surprise flashed in the eyes of the god of pride. He's got something. Before he could finish speaking, the god of arrogance twisted his wrist sharply, and the dark blue halberd instantly erupted with even more intense lightning. Lu Chen suddenly pulled his right hand back, and at the same time, his right leg slashed towards the god of arrogance like a battle axe. Golden energy condensed into a sharp blade of energy, causing subtle ripples in the space wherever it passed. The god of pride remained unmoved, but his dark blue light suddenly surged, and the lightning wrapped around his halberd instantly coalesced into a shield, blocking his way. With a deafening clang, the dragon's leg slammed into the lightning shield. The god of arrogance snorted coldly, flipped his wrist, and the lightning halberd broke free from Lu Chen's dragon claw restraints. The halberd swept horizontally, crackling with lightning, and lashed fiercely towards Lu Chen's waist. Its speed was so fast that it left dark blue afterimages in the air. With a thought, Lu Chen's golden dragon king bloodline instantly boiled. With a dragon's roar, a shield, formed from dragon energy and blood power blocked the lightning halberd. Such strong defense. The god of pride's eyes were now devoid of any contempt. Lu Chen did not respond, but let out another dragon roar, and his fourth and sixth chi and blood soul rings lit up at the same time. The golden dragon's berserk domain was instantly unleashed, enveloping the entire arena. The crimson gold blood energy erupted like a volcano, raising the temperature of the entire arena several times over. Golden Dragon Prison Kill. With a furious roar, Lu Chen's crimson gold blood energy surged violently, and the golden dragon phantom behind him let out a dragon roar that shook the heavens and the earth. The dragon claws instantly grew several times larger, and the tips of the claws condensed blood energy and dragon chi, slamming fiercely towards the god of arrogance. Layer upon layer of crimson gold energy surged forth like a tsunami, sweeping towards the god of arrogance. The god of arrogance became completely serious. His previous disdain and contempt had vanished, replaced by extreme seriousness. The halberd of divine punishment. The god of pride let out a low roar, and the dark blue light around him surged once more. He raised his lightning halberd high, and dark blue lightning gathered wildly in his hand. As the halberd was swung, a dark blue lightning halberd beam several meters long suddenly erupted, slashing fiercely at Lu Chen's golden dragon claw. Two terrifying forces, one gold and one blue, collided violently. Instead of a deafening explosion, there was an eerie silence for a moment. Then, a violent energy shockwave raged outwards from the point of impact. If it weren't for the barrier set up by the god of greed, this world would probably have been shattered long ago. The god of pride roared to the sky, and the dark blue aura around him instantly intensified, making his entire aura completely different from before. Dominating the 9 heavens. This is the signature move of the god of pride, which allows his divine power to surge instantly, unleashing more than double the strength. The god of pride's figure swelled once more, and the lightning howled. In his hand actually evolved into a thunder dragon soul. With one step, the entire arena trembled violently. Wielding the thunder dragon halberd, he transformed into a streak of dark blue lightning, charging towards Lu Chen with earth-shattering force. As the halberd was swung, several thunder dragons broke free from its restraints and lunged at Lu Chen with bared fangs and claws. Wherever they passed, the crimson gold blood energy was instantly torn apart, and even the space itself showed subtle cracks. Golden Dragon Waterfall. Lu Chen's 8th Chi Blood Soul Ring lit up instantly, T's crimson gold light almost breaking through the dark gold barrier set up by the God of Greed, even dyeing the space around the arena into a dazzling golden red. The golden dragon phantom behind him surged several feet higher. Its eyes wide open, its whiskers bristling, spewing scalding blood and dragon breath that collided with the dark blue lightning raging in the air, producing a hissing, ear-piercing sound. Chapter 373 The God of Jealousy. The Light of Jealousy. The Golden Dragon King possesses several powerful abilities, the two strongest of which are one offensive and one defensive. The offensive ability can only be obtained by breaking all the seals. As for the defensive ability, it is the Golden Dragon Waterfall that Lu Chen is currently using. Condense. Lu Chen roared, and the crimson gold blood energy around him no longer surged violently, but suddenly condensed, transforming into a golden waterfall thousands of feet high, cascading down from above. This waterfall is no ordinary stream. Every drop is a concentrated essence of dragon energy, falling with immense force as it crashes onto the arena floor, splashing up a shower of golden light. The Thunder Dragon that lunged forward with bared fangs and claws let out mournful roars the moment they collided with the Golden Dragon Waterfall. The dark blue lightning was frantically devoured and dissolved by the crimson gold blood energy. In a short while, the several Thunder Dragons vanished, leaving only scattered fragments of lightning, which were quickly washed away by the Golden Dragon Waterfall. The God of Arrogance's pupils constricted, and for the first time, astonishment appeared on his face. The Thunder Dragon halberd in his hand suddenly stopped. Impossible. How could a third-level deity possess such terrifying defensive power? He refused to believe in evil, and the dark blue divine patterns under his feet surged, his power of dominating the nine heavens rose again, and the divine power. Fluctuations around him almost broke through the shackles of a third-level god, approaching the level of a second-level god. He raised the Thunder Dragon halberd high in his hand, and the Thunder Dragon's soul condensed once again. This time, the Thunder Dragon was several times larger than before, its eyes flashing with a violent light, and the dark blue lightning wrapped around its body became even more intense. Even carrying a trace of black divine punishment power. Divine Punishment Thunder Dragon Slash. With a roar, the God of Arrogance unleashed his power, slashing down with the Thunder Dragon halberd. The massive Thunder Dragon soul broke free from the halberd, carrying the devastating power of divine punishment, and charged fiercely towards the Golden Dragon Waterfall. This strike concentrated all of his divine power. Dark blue lightning ripped through the sky and collided with the crimson gold dragon waterfall. This time, there was no more eerie silence, instead, there was a deafening roar. Boom! The deafening roar echoed across the entire edge of the divine realm. The dark gold barrier set up by the God of Greed trembled violently, and countless cracks appeared on its surface. As if it would shatter at any moment. The God of Greed paled, and his hands hurriedly formed hand seals again, continuously pouring dark golden divine power into the barrier to barely stabilize its shape. He muttered to himself, "They're insane. These two are madmen. A duel between third-level gods can unleash such terrifying power." After the loud bang, the light that filled the sky gradually faded away. The Golden Dragon Waterfall slowly receded, the crimson gold light faded, and Lu Chen's figure reappeared. His blood and chi were still surging, but his breathing was slightly rapid. His right arm, transformed into a golden dragon claw, its sharp tips gleaming with a chilling light, hovered steadily before the neck of the God of Pride. If he moves even a fraction more forward, his divine body can be easily torn apart. On the other hand, the God of Pride had long since lost his former arrogance and swagger. He was in a terrible state, his divine robe was torn to shreds by the aftershocks of the divine power, and his dark blue divine power was almost completely exhausted. "You've won, new lord." The God of Pride released the chains that sealed his power, and in the blink of an eye, his disheveled appearance vanished once more. At this moment, he fully acknowledged Lu Chen's strength and was willing to submit to this young man before him. Open black lens bracket. The God King's 9 trials. 7th trial progress. 4/7. Close black lens bracket. Lu Chen slowly retracted the golden dragon claw, the dragon scales on his right arm gradually faded, the crimson gold blood energy slowly subsided, and He rapid aura around him also stabilized. He gazed calmly at the arrogant god before him, without the slightest hint of pride, and said, "You flatter me." Just then, the figure of the god of gluttony appeared before everyone. He handed 2 spiritual fruits to Lu Chen, saying, "My lord. These are spiritual fruits that can restore and nourish your qi and blood. Please eat them to recover your strength." Lu Chen nodded and accepted the spiritual fruit offered by the god of gluttony. The spirit fruit was entirely crimson, with a faint glow swirling around its peel, and a sweet aroma wafted out as soon as you touched it. Without hesitation, he opened his mouth and bit into both spiritual fruits at the same time. The flesh was dense and juicy, melting in his mouth. The rich life energy instantly exploded in his body, spreading through his limbs and bones. His slightly rapid breathing completely stabilized, and the depleted qi and blood energy was recovering at a visible speed, even becoming more refined than at his peak. "My lord." The god of greed bowed slightly. "Congratulations on successfully passing the test of the god of pride. You have now completed 40% of the sixteenth of the 9 trials of the god king. Next, you will proceed to the next location, the test of the god of envy." The god of gluttony and the god of pride bowed to Lu Chen and the god of greed, saying, "In that case, we should also go and prepare the thing." The god of greed nodded slightly, then turned and led Lu Chen deeper into the island. The deeper you go into the island, the more i.e. the scenery becomes a thicket of withered, black thorns, each thorn entwined with a deep pink mist. Lu Chen frowned slightly, and a faint layer of crimson gold aura subconsciously enveloped his body, isolating him from the strange mist. This mist is strange. It carries the power to interfere with the mind. Is it the work of the god of jealousy? The god of greed bowed slightly. "What you say is absolutely right, my lord. This deep pink mist is the manifestation of her original divine power. If ordinary low-ranking gods are exposed to too much of it, they will be devoured by the jealousy in their hearts and turn on each other." Quote, as soon as the words were spoken, the withered black thorn bushes in front suddenly shook violently, and a clear female voice rang out, "Finally here. Greed, you're too slow." It was a woman, her brows furrowed, her eyes seemingly filled with resentment and jealousy. She was extremely ugly, with one eye larger than the other, a flat nose, a large, forked mouth, a short stature, and crooked shoulders. She radiated a deep pink light, with 7 halos shining within the deep pink halo. Is this the new master? The god of jealousy's gaze swept over Lu Chen, his eyes overflowing with envy. His tone was sharp and sarcastic. "But why? Why were you born with the Asura origin? Why are you able to possess the dual god-king positions at such a young age? Why should everyone submit to you?" Her voice grew increasingly shrill, and the divine power emanating from her body became more and more violent, with a deep pink halo spinning rapidly. She took a deep breath, intense jealousy surfacing on her face. Her eyes turned a deep pink, and 2 beams of deep pink light suddenly shot out from them, heading straight for Lu Chen's eyes. The light of envy. When struck by the light of envy, whether one is a god or a human, it will stir up the endless original sin of envy within one's heart. As long as one has ever felt envy, it will be triggered, causing one to temporarily lose oneself. Chapter 374 The Demon of Lustful Dance. Lu Chen's mind sharpened. Without thinking further, he sat cross-legged and focused all his energy on fighting against the jealous divine thought. The god of greed looked at the god of jealousy and said helplessly, "Is it really necessary? Lu Chen's current strength is only that of a 3rd-level god. Do you really need to take it so seriously?" The god of jealousy curled his lip and said helplessly, "I can't help it. This is the Lord's order. After all, the difficulty of the test will determine the compatibility. Why between the new Lord and that treasure?" Lu Chen closed his eyes tightly, his brows furrowed, and his blood and qi no longer surged outwards. Instead, they were all contained within him, flowing in to his sea of consciousness through his meridians, transforming into solid barriers that fiercely resisted the chilling and piercing jealousy. But Lu Chen quickly realized something was wrong. The deep pink beam of light, condensed from the power of jealousy, crashed into the pale gold shield without even causing a ripple. The divine thoughts of the god of jealousy surged like a tidal wave, attempting to ignite the darkest flames of jealousy in Lu Chen's heart. Jealous of others' talents, envious of others' opportunities, envious of everything others possess. However, The moment these nay thoughts touched Lu Chen's sea of consciousness, they vanished like mud oxen entering the sea, instantly swallowed up by a more magnificent and ancient will. Lu Chen smiled slightly, thinking to himself, jealousy. In the face of absolute strength and foundation, such emotions are nothing but laughable dust. He didn't need to resist at all. The divine thought of the god of jealousy was crushed to pieces by Lu Chen's mental power. Bang! With a soft sound, the deep pink pillar of light shattered inch by inch, turning into countless specks of light that vanished without a trace. Lu Chen slowly opened his eyes, a flash of golden light appearing briefly in them. His aura remained calm, as if the so-called test was nothing more than a gentle breeze. This is it. The god of greed stared wide-eyed, his face filled with disbelief. Jealousy, that attack you just made, it must have had at least half of your divine power, right? And it just disappeared like that. The Aeon, the god of jealousy's face froze instantly, replaced by deep shock and disbelief. She stared intently at Lu Chen. Impossible. My light of jealousy would even cause a second-level deity to lose their composure, and you actually. Quote. As if struck by a sudden thought, she exclaimed, unless you've never felt jealousy at all. Lu Chen stood up. Did you pass the test? The god of jealousy took a deep breath, suppressing the turmoil in his heart, and nodded with difficulty. It's through. Open black lens bracket the God King's 9 trials, 7th trial progress, 5/7. Close black lens bracket. The god of jealousy glanced at Lu Chen warily and said, My lord. I have important matters to attend to, so I will take my leave now. Lu Chen smiled faintly. Go. The god of jealousy was granted a pardon, and his form vanished instantly. The god of greed opened his mouth, swallowed hard, and looked at Lu Chen with a hint of fear in his eyes. Lu Chen's eyes remained calm and expressionless. Whose test is next? It's lust. A test from the god of lust. Upon hearing this, the god of greed looked at Lu Chen with even greater respect. My lord, please come with me. The god of greed dared not be negligent in the slightest and bowed. Making a gesture to guide the way, Lu Chen followed behind with his hands behind his back. Within minutes, a hazy pink light gate appeared in front of the two of them. The light gate was wrapped with wisps of lustful divine power, and a faint fragrance could be smelled in the air, carrying a captivating and alluring meaning. My lord, this is the trial ground of the god of lust. The god of greed stood at the entrance to the gate of light, saying, the god of lust's trial is the most difficult. It doesn't rely on combat strength, but only on disturbing the mind. You must be very careful. Lu Chen nodded, but the god of greed did not accompany him inside. Instead, he left directly. Lu Chen smiled helplessly and reached out to push open the portal of light in front of him. The entire room was bathed in soft pink light, the walls were covered with pink brocade embroidered with twining roses, and even the flickering candlelight was tinged with a faint pink hue. In the center of the room, a huge, pristine white bed stands out. The bed canopy is made of semi-transparent pink gauze, which hangs down and sways gently, covering most of the bed. Just then, a woman in a white dress appeared in front of Lu Chen. She had an absolutely stunning face and a flawless figure. Her white dress was semi-transparent, revealing glimpses of her beautiful figure, as if endless allure was about to burst forth from it. Her face looked so pure and holy, seemingly devoid of any carnal desire, yet it possessed an immense allure. As a first-level deity, she had a 7-ring dark red halo behind her that emitted a dazzling light. You're finally here. We've been waiting for you for so long. The alluring voice of the goddess of lust echoed in the air, each word as delicate as silk threads. Like a faint fragrance, flowing into Lu Chen's body. Lu Chen felt a sudden stirring in his heart. With each word she uttered, his mind trembled slightly. The more he heard, the more it seemed as if a flame was rising within him. This god of lust is a powerful first-level deity. There are only 18 first-level deities in the entire divine realm. She is a powerful being, second only to the God King of the Divine Realm Council and the 3 enforcers. A peculiar aura began to permeate the area, carrying a faint sweet fragrance, but more than anything, a gentle, sensual fire. One by one, graceful young women emerged from the void, gliding towards Lu Chen with soft murmurs and beautiful moans. Their skin was as white as snow, and they wore pink gauze as thin as cicada wings. As their skirts swayed gently, they revealed their slender ankles and smooth shoulders. Their eyes and brows exuded an irresistible charm, and every step they took seemed to touch the heart. The girl at the front, with her eyes crinkled into crescents, gently brushed her body against Lu Chen's sleeve, her voice so soft and sweet it could melt your heart. "Young master, it's so hot, why don't we help you take off your clothes to cool you down?" The god of lust stood not far away, leaning against the bed railing, a seductive smile playing on his lips. His dark red divine wheel turned slightly, and wisps of divine lust power continuously flowed into the girls' bodies, enhancing their allure. Her eyes were full of confidence. She was now using the dance of the heavenly demon, a move that few people of the same level could withstand. Seeing that Lu Chen did not resist, the girl who was holding Lu Chen's collar became bolder and slowly pulled open Lu Chen's collar. Her other hand gently touched his shoulder, the coolness of her fingertips colliding with the warmth of his skin. The other girls also gathered around, some gently tugging at Lu Chen's sleeve, others lightly rubbing their cheeks against his arm. Whispering softly, "Young master, hurry up, we'll keep you company." Chapter 375 God of Lust. I was wrong, okay. Lu Chen's aura paused almost imperceptibly, his fingertips tightened instinctively, and a glint of clarity flashed deep in his eyes as he forcefully suppressed the surging heat within him. He's more patient than I expected. The goddess of lust chuckled softly, slowly straightening her posture as she leaned against the bed railing. Her white dress swayed gently with her movements, revealing glimpses of her jade-like feet beneath the hem. The dark red divine wheel behind her suddenly accelerated its rotation, the 7 divine rings shone brightly, the pink halo of the entire room became more intense, and the alluring fragrance became stronger, almost drowning people in it. "In that case, shall I accompany you personally, young master?" The voice of the god of lust grew increasingly seductive, carrying a bewitching quality that penetrated the soul. A bewitching blush appeared on her originally holy face. As she spoke, she suddenly moved closer to Lu Chen, her entire body almost pressed against him. A faint fragrance of her body mixed with the exotic scent of her erotic divine power wafted over and entered Lu Chen's nostrils. She gently lifted her fingertips, no longer tugging at Lu Chen's clothes but slowly caressing his cheek. Lu Chen felt a sudden boom in his mind, as countless ambiguous images flooded his consciousness, frantically assaulting his mind. The heat within him surged even more intensely. "How is it, young master?" The god of lust gently brought his cheek close to Lu Chen's ear. "Give up the resistance, follow me, and you can have the most extreme pleasure in the world." As soon as the god of lust finished speaking, her white dress began to slowly fade away, revealing her moon-like skin glowing with a luminous sheen in the pink light. Lu Chen was surrounded by the girl, and the soft touch made him afraid to move. He felt the golden dragon king bloodline within him begin to boil, and waves of evil thoughts assaulted his remaining sanity. Just as the god of lust was about to make a move on Lu Chen, a 7-colored light suddenly shone from Lu Chen's chest. Then a melodious dragon roar resounded, and a sense of aloofness and majesty that looked down upon the world instantly broke through the rich pink halo in the room, dispelling the alluring fragrance. The god of lust froze abruptly, the alluring blush on his face vanishing instantly, replaced by incredulous astonishment. She instinctively took a half-step back, a hint of wariness and apprehension flashing in her eyes. The 7-colored light grew increasingly intense, gradually spreading from Lu Chen's chest and enveloping his entire body. The light was gentle yet inviolable, forcefully pushing back the power of the goddess of lust by 3 feet, preventing her from getting any closer to Lu Chen. Demon of color dance was instantly destroyed. Lu Chen felt the surging heat within his body dissipate instantly. He could clearly feel a warm and powerful force surging from his chest, flowing through his meridians to his limbs and bones, soothing the boiling golden dragon king bloodline. What kind of aura is this?" The god of lust's voice trembled slightly, his eyes filled with horror. As soon as she finished speaking, a huge phantom slowly emerged from the 7-colored light. The phantom was covered in 7-colored scales, which shimmered with a glass-like luster under the light. The phantom was enormous, almost filling the entire room. Its head was held high, its dragon horns were prominent, and its eyes were as clear as amethyst. That was the phantom of the Silver Dragon King. The phantom of the Silver Dragon King slowly opened her eyes, and a seven-colored divine light shot out from her eyes, landing directly on the god of lust. The god of lust felt his whole body stiffen, as if he were trapped by invisible shackles. Lu Chen looked at the phantom of the Silver Dragon King in the air, and the corners of his mouth curled up slightly. He looked at the powerless god of lust and slowly said, "Next. It's my turn." As the god of lust watched Lu Chen approach step by step, his body subconsciously moved backward. Lu Chen slowly straightened up, reached out and pushed. And the god of lust staggered and fell onto the soft bed, his body trembling slightly, his eyes filled with fear as he looked at him, not even having the courage to look up into his eyes. "Young master, I was wrong, okay. I know I was wrong." The goddess of lust lowered her stance, knowing that no deity was currently paying attention to this space, which meant that Lu Chen could do whatever he wanted to her. She tried to unleash the divine power within her, but found that the phantom of the Silver Dragon King in the air completely suppressed the power within her. Lu Chen raised an eyebrow, his fingertips gently lifting to pinch the chin of the goddess of lust, forcing her to look directly at him. "Wrong. No, you're scared now." The god of lust curled up on the bed and whispered, I won't dare to do it again. Please let me go. I'll never dare to come near you again." Although she is the goddess of lust, she is not truly filled with desire. Everything she usually displays is merely the effect of her mental power and everything she controls. She had never been treated like this by a man before. Thinking about what was about to happen, tears welled up uncontrollably in her eyes. And crystal tears slid down her cheeks, splashing onto the white sheets and leaving a small wet patch. Her former alluring and holy appearance has vanished. Seeing this, Lu Chen lost interest in continuing to teach the god of lust a lesson. He released the god of lust's wrist, stood up, and said, "I should have passed the test, right?" The god of lust nodded eagerly, "Of course." Open black lens bracket the god king's 9 trials. 7th trial progress. 6/7. Close black lens bracket. With a thought, Lu Chen caused the illusory image of the Silver Dragon King in the air to transform into a stream of 7-colored light and return to the reverse scale. The god of lust felt as if he had been granted a pardon. He hurriedly got out of bed, ignoring his tattered dress, and disappeared in a streak of light. Lu Chen sighed helplessly. He had already met 6 of the 7 original sin gods, leaving only the god of wrath unseen. Of these 6 gods, only the god of greed is relatively normal, the others are practically problem children. What kind of gods are working under him? Lu Chen exclaimed. The next second, a portal appeared in front of him. Without the slightest hesitation, Lu Chen stepped into the portal, and the surrounding scenery changed, returning him to the island once more. The god of greed was already waiting there. He bowed slightly to Lu Chen and said, "Congratulations, my lord, on passing the test of lust." Lu Chen looked at the god of greed, who was bowing respectfully, and said, "Now there's only one last test left, right? Take me to see the god of wrath." "Yes, please follow me." The god of greed surged with divine power, carrying Lu Chen as he flew towards the other side of the island. As the two continued their journey, the scenery along the way gradually became increasingly grotesque. A pungent smell of sulfur and burnt odor filled the air, and in the distance, a dark red halo appeared on the horizon, which was the direction of Ragefire Canyon. The closer you get to the canyon, the higher the temperature becomes, and the more intense the malevolent atmosphere in the air becomes. "My lord, the god of wrath resides in the Valley of Wrath." As the god of greed flew, he explained, "That place is perpetually shrouded in flames and malevolent energy. Furthermore, the god of wrath is most averse to being provoked." Chapter 376 Original Sin Oracle Skull. He god of greed carried Lu Chen as he slowly descended from the sky into the raging flame canyon. On the central platform, a tall, thin man shrouded in an orange robe was looking at the two of them. The god of wrath radiated a strong dark orange light from his entire body, and the 7 rings of light behind his head were also dark orange. "They actually put me last." The god of wrath glared at the god of greed with fury. "Greed, how dare you!" Before he finished speaking, the dark orange light around the god of wrath suddenly surged, and the 7 rings of light behind his head suddenly accelerated their rotation. A violent and malevolent aura swept out like a tsunami, instantly engulfing the entire canyon, and the rocks underfoot were shattered by this aura. The god of greed waved his hand, creating a shield, and said somewhat speechlessly, "After all these years, your temper, which is so easily triggered, hasn't changed at all." "Shut up." The roar of the god of wrath shook the canyon, and the 7 rings of light behind his head shone even brighter. "What business is it of yours to interfere in my affairs? If it weren't for the Lord's sake, I would shatter your miserl. Why shield today and let you taste the agony of being burned alive?" He leaned forward slightly, his anger almost tangible. The god of greed curled his lip, subtly reinforcing his shield, his tone softening slightly. All right, I admit I was being nosy. I was merely ordered to bring the new master forward for the final test." The god of wrath looked at Lu Chen, the anger in his eyes lessening slightly. "The final test is very simple. Just withstand one of my moves." As soon as he finished speaking, the dark orange light around him surged again, and the 7 rings of light behind his head reached their maximum speed, with each ring igniting with crackling flames. The temperature in the entire Ragefire Canyon soared instantly, and the rubble underfoot melted into dark red lava. "Let me remind you." The god of wrath raised his hand, and a ball of dark orange flame slowly condensed in his palm. As soon as the flame appeared, the surrounding air was burned and distorted, and even emitted a sizzling sound. "This move of mine contains no fancy tricks. If you can withstand it, you will pass the test. If you cannot, you will be seriously injured at best, and your soul will be scattered at worst. Don't regret it. Go ahead and make your move." Lu Chen stepped forward, and the Asura demon sword appeared in his hand. "Good. You have guts." A hint of approval flashed in the god of wrath's eyes, but it was quickly replaced by violence. "In that case, take this." Burning wrath. A roar echoed through the canyon as the god of wrath unleashed the flames from his palm. The dark orange flame instantly swelled, transforming into a pillar of fire several meters high, carrying a violent and malevolent aura. Like an angry fire dragon with its blood-red maw wide open, it fiercely slammed towards Lu Chen. Wherever the beam of light passed, a deep trench was burned into the ground, lava flowed, the air was completely burned away, and even the space itself was cracked. Lu Chen suddenly closed his eyes and focused his mind into his body. Before this, he had already vaguely found the opportunity for the Asura's 6 kills. A crimson gold Asura sword intent instantly filled his entire body, and the Asura demon sword in his hand began to tremble uncontrollably. Soon, the Asura sword intent burst through his body and transformed into a pillar of sword intent several meters high. The Asura demon sword in his hand trembled more and more violently, and the Asura patterns on the sword blade shone with a dazzling golden light. 6 killing gods. Lu Chen suddenly opened his eyes, a crimson glint flashing within them, and the crimson gold sword intent around him became even more condensed. He gripped the Asura demon sword tightly with both hands, raising it high above his head, shouting, "Supernatural power! Unfettered heavenly fall!" With a cold shout, Lu Chen swung down his demonic sword, and the crimson gold sword intent beam instantly condensed into a huge sword shadow. The Asura patterns on the sword shadow were clearly visible, and it slashed towards the dark orange pillar of flame with earth-shattering power. Boom! The entire Ragefire Canyon trembled violently, as if it were about to collapse completely. A huge rift was torn open in the sky above them, and a gale howled as dark clouds gathered. Lightning flashed through the clouds, intertwining with the lava, sword light, and flames below. It was as if the heavens and earth were about to shatter at that moment. As the two forces eroded each other, the strange phenomenon in the sky gradually subsided. Lu Chen slowly lowered the Asura demon sword, the crimson gold sword intent around him gradually receding. He staggered a step, a smile appearing on his face. "Looks like I've passed." The god of greed quickly withdrew his shield and strode forward. "Anger, you've lost. Lu Chen has passed your test." The god of wrath, his divine power subdued, nodded slightly and said, "Congratulations." Open black lens bracket the God King's 9 trials, 7th trial progress, 7/7, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket the God King's 9 trials, the 7th trial, is complete. The 7th trial has ended. Rewards: 3 God-given soul rings and the original Sin Oracle skull. The age limit of all soul rings has been increased by 50,000 years, close black lens bracket. Asura God's affinity increased by 10%. Destruction God's affinity increased by 20%. Current total Asura God's affinity, 80%. Destruction God's affinity, 80%. Before he finished speaking, the sky above the raging flame canyon suddenly lit up with golden light, and countless beams of divine power converged from all directions, landing on Lu Chen and healing his injuries. At that very moment, 7 pillars of light suddenly rose into the sky from 7 directions on the island. The power of greed is dark gold. The power of sloth is dark green. The power of arrogance is dark blue. The power of envy is deep pink. The power of gluttony is dark yellow. The power of lust is dark red, and the power of anger is dark orange in front of Lu Chen. 7 different but common forces converged, intertwined and entwined in the air, shedding their original turbidity and gradually condensing into a rotating 7-colored light ball. The ball of light spun faster and faster, its light growing ever brighter, illuminating the entire Ragefire Canyon as if it were daytime. Lu Chen could clearly sense that this 7-colored light contained the primordial power originating from the 7 original Sin gods, yet it surpassed them, carrying an ancient and majestic aura. He subconsciously looked up, his eyes fixed on the ball of light. A moment later, the rotation speed of the 7-colored light cluster gradually slowed down, the light began to converge, and the outline became clearer. That's the shape of a skull. The skull is purplish gold in color, with an interwoven 7-colored divine pattern engraved on the forehead, and a faint 7-colored halo shimmering in the eye sockets. Buzz! A deep divine cry rang out, and the condensed head of the original Sin Oracle slowly floated, breaking free from the 7-colored light cluster, and drifted slowly toward Lu Chen's brow. Lu Chen did not dodge. Instead, he relaxed his mind and let the head bone approach his brow. The moment the soul bone touched his brow, a warm and vast power surged into his body, spreading along his meridians to his limbs and bones. He could clearly sense that his sea of consciousness was becoming increasingly vast, like a boundless starry sea, filled with all possibilities. Lu Chen slowly closed his eyes, and the head of the divine Sin Oracle gradually merged into his brow, eventually becoming one with his body. Chapter 377 Lu Chen. Limit Douluo. A faint 7-colored divine mark slowly appeared on Lu Chen's forehead. The 7-colored divine pattern shimmered slightly between Lu Chen's brows, like stars, sometimes dimming and sometimes shining with a glimmer of light, tinting his eyes with a faint 7-colored halo. At this moment, the shackles that restricted Lu Chen's soul power and mental power had completely disappeared, and his level 97 soul power cultivation was released instantly. 9 spirit rings, 6 red, blue-red, purple-black, and crimson-gold, surrounded Lu Chen. What surprised Lu Chen even more was not this, but the heaven-defying power brought by the original Sin Oracle skull. This head bone, of unknown grade and formed from the primal power of the 7 original Sin gods, granted Lu Chen a total of 4 soul skills. The Eye of Original Sin, Judgment. A cool divine sense surged into Lu Chen's mind through the 7-colored divine pattern between his eyebrows. He subconsciously closed his eyes, and when he opened them again, faint dark golden vertical pupils appeared in his eyes. As far as his eyes could see, he could clearly see the internal texture of a boulder not far away, and even the faint divine power flowing in the air. It was as if he had the ability to see through everything. The most outrageous thing is that the range of this soul skill can actually cover the entire island, and even the 7 original Sin gods have no secrets in front of Lu Chen. This soul skill actually ignores cultivation level. The following original Sin Backlash, Manifestation and Divine Mist, Disturbance are top-tier soul skills, 1 offensive and 1 controlling. The last soul skill brought by the Divine Sin Oracle skull is called Divine Punishment, Final Chapter of Divine Sin. This was the ultimate soul skill that shocked Lu Chen the most. The moment his mind touched this soul skill, a powerful divine might erupted from the 7-colored divine pattern between his eyebrows. The 9 spirit rings around his body spun wildly, and his level 97 spirit power surged violently, as if he needed to sacrifice a portion of his own spirit power to activate it. He could clearly sense that once this soul skill was released, everything within a diameter of 10,000 meters would be imprisoned by the divine oracle and then annihilated by the gray-black pillar of heavenly punishment. The killed target will be converted into sin energy to nourish himself, while the surviving target will be afflicted by the sin curse until he is tortured to death. Open black lens bracket. The God King's 9 trials. 8th trial. Reach level 99 in soul power and travel to the sea. Ity of slaughter to slay the King of Slaughter. Time limit: half a year. Close black lens bracket. The 7 gods of the dead stood respectfully on either side of Lu Chen, having already acknowledged this future God King. Yu Chen looked at the 7 original sin gods and smiled. I would appreciate it if you could protect me. Lu Chen took out 2 divinely bestowed soul rings, since the requirement was to reach level 99 in soul power. The best way was to add 9 soul rings to the destruction scepter martial soul. The 7 original sin gods bowed in unison and said respectfully, "Rest assured, our Lord, we will not allow any external force to disturb your absorption of the soul ring." As soon as the words were spoken, the 7 original sin gods released their own original divine power, and the entire island began to tremble violently. A pure and rich source of heaven and earth energy instantly surged into this desolate land. In the blink of an eye, the cracked land on the entire island became moist and soft at a speed visible to the naked eye, and the cracks gradually disappeared like smoothed-out wrinkles. Tender green shoots emerged from the soil, pushing through the pebbles, greedily absorbing vital energy of heaven and earth in the air. In a short breath, they unfold into tiny leaves that sway gently. Above the sky, the originally dark clouds were dispersed by divine power, revealing a clear blue sky. Sunlight shone through the clouds, turning into fine golden rays that fell around Lu Chen. Lu Chen sat cross-legged, with 2 divinely bestowed soul rings floating in front of him. The destruction scepter transformed into a stream of purple-black light that flew out from between Lu Chen's eyebrows. With a thought, Lu Chen's 2 divinely bestowed soul rings instantly lit up with golden light. Immediately afterwards, the primordial energy of heaven and earth surged into Lu Chen's body and the divinely bestowed soul rings like swimming dragons. The purity and power of that Yuan energy far surpassed any of the power of heaven and earth that Lu Chen had absorbed before. It surged wildly along his meridians. This could not even be called Yuan energy, but divine power. Scepter of destruction hovered above his head. The purplish-black staff was covered with countless divine runes that lit up. The purplish-black dragon soul at the top of the staff roared, and the lish black pearl shone with golden light. The golden light of the 2 divinely bestowed soul rings grew stronger and stronger, and a pure white halo slowly emerged. Then it turned yellow and then purple at a speed visible to the naked eye. In the blink of an eye, it became as deep as ink, and 2 black soul rings floated in front of Lu Chen, with faint purple patterns flowing on the rings. 7 original sin gods stared intently, their eyes filled with anticipation. The god of lust looked at Lu Chen and asked curiously, "I wonder what level of soul ring my lord will ultimately obtain." As soon as he finished speaking, the 2 black 10,000-year soul rings suddenly shone with a dazzling light. From the inky black halo, a scarlet color gradually seeped out, like dried blood, slowly spreading and staining the entire soul ring. The crimson color grew stronger and stronger, eventually completely replacing the black. The 2 crimson soul rings floated in midair, their size several times larger than before. On the rings, ferocious blood-red patterns appeared, slowly writhing like living things. Snap! With a crisp sound, a crack finally appeared in the soul power barrier within Lu Chen's body. And his peak level 97 soul power erupted instantly, just 1 step away from level 98. The 2 crimson 100,000-year soul rings were still transforming. The crimson color gradually faded, and a warm and heavy orange-gold color emerged, like the rising sun, exuding a very domineering aura. The orange-gold light grew brighter and brighter, the size of the spirit ring expanded again. And the blood-red patterns on the ring disappeared, replaced by mysterious golden patterns. The power, far exceeding that of an ordinary 100,000-year soul ring, surged into Lu Chen's body like a tsunami, fiercely impacting the level 97 peak soul power barrier. With a loud boom, the barrier shattered completely, and his level 98 soul power cultivation instantly stabilized and continued to soar. Rapidly advancing towards the peak of level 98, The power of this 200,000-year-old soul ring is still rising, and its orange-gold light is gradually becoming deeper, beginning to transform into a purplish gold color. A purple halo gradually seeped out from the orange-gold soul ring, and the gold and purple blended together, eventually transforming into a dazzling purple gold. 2p. Purple gold soul rings floated in front of Lu Chen, each over 10 feet in diameter, like two miniature purple gold suns. Divine patterns of the sun, moon, and stars slowly flowed around the rings, aiding a supreme pressure that made even the gods tremble. At this moment, Lu Chen's soul power had soared to the peak of level 98, just one step away from level 99. The scepter of destruction hovered above his head. Its purplish-black shaft bathed in the light of purplish-gold soul rings, all the divine runes lit up, and the purplish-black pearl at the top of the staff radiated brilliant light. Merging with the 2 million-year soul rings, the divine power of heaven and earth on the entire island converged wildly, transforming into a huge purple-gold pillar of light that enveloped Lu Chen. Buzz! With another loud bang, Lu Chen's soul power erupted once more, shattering the barrier of the peak level 98. The aura of the level 99 limit Douluo swept out like a volcanic eruption, enveloping the entire island. At this moment, a million-year soul ring was still not Lu Chen's limit. Just as Lu Chen was about to use the divine power here to upgrade his spirit ring to a higher level, TW. Oh, majestic voices rang out simultaneously, that's enough. If your spirit ring completely transforms into a divine ring, you won't be able to return to Douluo continent. Reminded by the two god kings, Asura and Destruction, Lu Chen immediately suppressed that thought. Chapter 378 Return to the City of Slaughter. Lu Chen took a deep breath, his mind stirred slightly, and his aura instantly subsided. The two purple-gold million-year soul rings slowly shrank, eventually transforming into two streams of light that steadily merged into the scepter of destruction. In an instant, the pressure of the scepter of destruction increased by 3 points. On the purplish-black staff, divine patterns of the sun, moon, and stars intertwined with soul ring patterns. The purplish-black dragon soul at the top of the staff raised its head and roared, its voice shaking the heavens. Lu Chen slowly stood up. Upon seeing this, the 7 original sins gods bowed again. Congratulations, Lord, on breaking through to level 99 and achieving the position of ultimate Douluo. Lu Chen nodded slightly, his gaze falling on the scepter of destruction. Thanks to the protection of all the Dharma protectors and the assistance of the Sin Oracle Skull, otherwise, it would have been impossible to break through so smoothly. As soon as he finished speaking, 2 blurry figures slowly emerged in midair. One of them was wearing blood-red divine armor and surrounded by a chilling aura of killing intent. It was none other than the Asura God King. The other figure, dressed in a long purple-black robe, exuded a heavy and domineering aura, radiating a pressure capable of destroying all things. This was the God King of Destruction. The figures of the 2 God Kings were illusory and ethereal, clearly only projections of their arrival, not their true forms. Upon seeing this, the 7 original sins gods hurriedly knelt on one knee and respectfully said, "The 7 original sins gods pay their respects to the Lord." The Asura God King. The 2 God Kings, Asura and Destruction, spoke calmly, "Get up." Yes. Upon hearing this, the 7 original sin gods stood respectfully beside Lu Chen. The Asura God King looked at Lu Chen with great satisfaction. He had watched Lu Chen grow up, and it wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that Lu Chen was like a son to him. He looked at Lu Chen and said, "Lu Chen, Destruction and I have placed the Asura Demon Sword and the Destruction Scepter, 2 super artifacts, in the City of Slaughter. As long as you kill the King of Slaughter, you can obtain the 2 super artifacts. At that time, you can use the power of the 2 super artifacts to break through the level 100 and achieve the position of Dual God King." Lu Chen nodded slightly and bowed, saying, "This junior understands." The God of Destruction addressed Lu Chen, saying, "Lu Chen, you'd better keep going. The inheritance of the 2 first-level gods, the God of Angels and the God of Rakshasa, has reached its final stage. Although you now possess God-level combat power, you might not be a match for 2 true gods." The God of Destruction paused, then continued, "And even little Green's successor is progressing much faster than you." Upon hearing this, Lu Chen scratched his head sheepishly and said, I'll head to the city of slaughter as soon as I get back. The god of day, Trukshan and the god of Asura exchanged a glance and said in unison, in that case, we'll send you on your way. As soon as the words fell, the two god kings simultaneously extended their right hands. And then a golden beam of light descended from the sky, enveloping Lu Chen's body. Warm and boundless divine power enveloped his body. Lu Chen felt the space around him suddenly distort, and he wrote a whooshing sound as the air was torn apart. The projections of the 7 original Sin gods and the 2 god kings in front of him gradually became blurry. Just a second before Lu Chen disappeared, the god of destruction spoke to him. Shura and I have prepared a little surprise for you. Enjoy it. The dizzying sensation of spatial distortion vanished in an instant, and Lu Chen's feet landed steadily on a cold, bone-chilling ground. The killing city before him was completely different from what Lu Chen had seen before. It was as silent as a tomb that had been abandoned for thousands of years. And there was not even the sound of the wind passing through the dilapidated buildings. Lu Chen slowly opened his eyes, a hint of concentration flashing in his deep gaze. His divine sense unconsciously spread out, like an invisible net, instantly enveloping the entire killing city. But the next second, his brows furrowed slightly. Wherever his divine sense reached, there was nothing but broken walls and congealed, blackened bloodstains, and no trace of life. Walking down the empty street, Lu Chen asked in confusion, what exactly happened here? Above the city of slaughter, a red figure stared intently at Lu Chen. A blood-red robe, a stand-up collar cloak, a pale face. It was none other than the ruler of the city of slaughter, the king of slaughter, whom Lu Chen and Huliena had encountered during their carnage in the city of slaughter. The king of carnage has changed a lot since then. His pale face was covered with many strange blood patterns, and there was a sword-shaped demonic mark on his forehead. Behind him, a pair of huge blood-red wings spread out, and if you look closely, you will find that the king of slaughter also has an aura of destructive power on his body. The moment the king of slaughter appeared, Lu Chen sensed his aura. Without the slightest hesitation, the Asura demon sword appeared in his right hand, and then he gathered his soul power and swung it fiercely. A crimson sword aura several meters long tore through the sky, causing the space to tremble wherever it passed. This sword strike, its sharpness fully revealed, was aimed directly at the face of the king of slaughter. The king of slaughter curled a sinister smile at the corner of his mouth. His pale face showed no panic. His blood-red wings flapped violently, and a thick blood-red mist instantly spread out. From within the mist, countless tiny blood-red blades appeared out of thin air, shooting towards the crimson sword energy like a swarm of bees. Overestimating yourself. Boom. The crimson sword energy collided violently with the countless blood-red blades, and the huge explosion shook the entire killing city. The violent energy shockwaves spread in all directions, and the ground was blasted open with hideous cracks. The already dilapidated buildings were instantly reduced to ruins. Lu Chen paused slightly, circulating his soul power to firmly stand in place. His gaze was fixed on the king of slaughter in midair, and he thought to himself, something's not right. How could his power have reached the god level? And this aura of destruction within him? Yu Chen suddenly realized something and slowly said, as the power within you related to the 2 god kings, Asura and destruction. The king of slaughter hovered in midair, his body shimmering with blood-red patterns, and the sword-shaped demonic mark on his forehead glowing faintly. Lu Chen, I never expected you to be the successor of 2 gods. His eyes instantly filled with murderous intent. However, as long as I devour you, I can become a god, and achieve eternity. The king of slaughter suddenly emitted a burst of bloody light, and in a flash, he arrived in front of Lu Chen. His 2 hands, covered in long, blood-red armor and resembling claws, aimed straight for Lu Chen's chest. At the same time, the intense blood-red light and purplish-black glow emanating from his body suddenly erupted. And the 2 forces surged toward Lu Chen. The 2 forces intertwined and entangled, transforming into a ferocious, blood-black claw that locked onto Lu Chen's vital heart. Lu Chen's pupils shrank sharply. He dared not be careless in the slightest. His soul power as a level 99 limit Douluo exploded without reservation, and the purple and gold million-year soul ring reappeared from his body, surrounding him. The divine runes on the spirit ring shone brightly, echoing the aura of the scepter of destruction. Since you're courting death, don't blame me for being impolite." Before he finished speaking, Lu Chen gripped the scepter of destruction with his left hand. The purple-black dragon soul at the top of the scepter roared out again, transforming into a giant purple-black dragon tens of feet long. It bared its fangs and claws and pounced on the King of Slaughter. The dragon was surrounded by an aura of destruction, and wherever it passed, space shattered inch by inch. After 379 King of Slaughter, second stage. Upon seeing this, the King of Slaughter slammed down with his blood-red claws, unleashing a burst of blood-black light that tore apart the purple-black dragon's claws. At the same time, he shifted to the side, and with a flash of blood-red light at his fingertips, several blood needles containing destructive power shot towards Lu Chen's major acupoints. Snort. Lu Chen snorted coldly, his figure dodging all the blood needles like a ghost. He swept out the destruction scepter, and the purple-black destructive power condensed into a huge staff shadow, which slammed into the chest of the King of Slaughter. Where the staff's shadow passed, even the blood-red mist in the sky was torn apart, revealing a pitch-black spatial rift. The King of Slaughter's expression changed slightly, clearly not expecting Lu Chen to react so quickly. In a hurry, the blood-red wings on his back suddenly contracted, blocking in front of him, while the blood patterns all over his body lit up, condensing into a thick layer of blood armor. With a loud bang, the staff slammed into the blood armor, instantly shattering the crimson wings and leaving the armor riddled with cracks. The King of Slaughter was sent flying like a kite with a broken string, spitting out a mouthful of black blood, his breathing becoming somewhat disordered. "It seems you haven't yet mastered the power within your body." Lu Chen stared coldly at the King of Slaughter opposite him. The King of Slaughter roared to the sky, and the sword-shaped demonic mark on his forehead suddenly burst forth with dazzling light. The blood-red light and purplish-black light around his body surged wildly and began to merge together, forming an even more violent and bizarre power. Lu Chen, the outcome is still uncertain. With his roar, the ground of the entire killing city began to tremble violently, and countless congealed, blackened bloodstains gushed out from beneath the ground, converging into a huge, blood-red river. In the long river, countless wronged souls could be vaguely seen wailing and struggling. A thick, nauseating stench of blood and murderous aura permeated the air, almost engulfing Lu Chen. Lu Chen's expression was solemn. He could clearly feel that the power of the King of Slaughter was rapidly increasing. Originally, his combat strength was only barely reaching the threshold of the god level. But now it was approaching the level of a true god. A seven-colored light shone from between his brows, and that resentment was instantly extinguished. "It seems surprised the two god kings spoke of as probably this modified power within you." Lu Chen slowly tightened his grip on the Asura demon's sword and the staff of destruction. The King of Slaughter roared in resentment, raising his hands to his sides. Rings of blood-red light rippled out from his body, the powerful blood light not only filled with a corrosive aura but also possessing a unique energy fluctuation. A crimson halo enveloped Lu Chen, and in an instant, a strange power surged forth, attempting to seal his soul power. The King of Slaughter let out a strange cacophony. "How does my slaughter domain taste? My killing domain is the strongest domain in Killing City. Compared to the killing god domain you obtained, it is a smaller version of the magic suppressing effect in Killing City. The killing domain is the most domineering domain in the world. Its magic suppressing properties are absolutely guaranteed." Ridiculous. As soon as he finished speaking, the Asura demon's sword in Lu Chen's hand suddenly lit up with a crimson gold light, and then rings of crimson gold halos rippled out from Lu Chen's body. In the blink of an eye, the King of Slaughter's slaughter domain was forced back. Wherever the crimson gold halo passed, the corrosive bloody aura quickly dissolved, and even the bloody smell that permeated the air was swept away, replaced by a solemn and sacred aura. The King of Slaughter's smile froze on his face instantly, his eyes widened in disbelief. "Impossible. How could my slaughter domain be broken? How can the fireflies glow on decaying grass compared to the bright moon in the sky?" Lu Chen's figure swelled to several meters, and his crimson gold Asura domain was fully unleashed. Wherever it passed, space distorted, the mist dissipated, and then the blood-red river began to churn violently, with the wails of countless wronged souls becoming increasingly mournful. The King of Slaughter trembled with rage, his fused blood black and purplish-black power surging wildly. He slammed his palm into the blood-red river, roaring, "Swallow him." In an instant, the blood-red river surged with towering waves, and countless wrong souls coalesced into a gigantic blood-red ghost claw, which, with a world-destroying aura, fiercely grabbed at Lu Chen. Lu Chen's eyes narrowed, showing no fear. He slashed out with the Asura demon sword in his hand, and a crimson gold sword aura several meters long shot out. The sword aura contained endless annihilation power and instantly collided with the blood-red ghost claw. With a loud bang, the crimson gold sword energy tore through the outer layer of the blood-red ghost claw. Countless wrong souls turned to ashes within the sword energy, and the blood-red ghost claw instantly became incomplete, its power weakened by more than half. Before the King of Slaughter could react, Lu Chen swept the destruction scepter in his hand again, and the purplish-black destructive power condensed into a huge wall of light, which slammed into the blood-red river. Where the wall of light passed, the blood-red river water evaporated instantly, revealing countless white bones at the bottom of the river. The remaining resentment was also completely annihilated by the power of destruction, and could never be gathered again. No, the King of Slaughter let out a desperate roar. The river of blood was destroyed, and his power plummeted instantly. The blood patterns around his body began to dim, and the fused power became chaotic. The destructive light wall knocked the King of Slaughter to the ground. The King of Slaughter crashed heavily onto the bone-strewn ground, black blood gushing from his mouth, his damaged wings no longer able to support his body. He struggled to prop himself up, and his once cold and ruthless eyes were now filled with madness. "Lu Chen, you forced me, you really forced me." A broken roar rolled from his throat, and the remaining blood black and purplish-black power around his body no longer surged wildly. Instead, it flowed back into his body like all rivers returning to their source. The sword-shaped demonic mark on his forehead twisted and swelled violently, as if some terrifying being was about to burst out of his body. "The nine-headed Bat King has appeared." The moment the words fell, the King of Slaughter suddenly raised his head and let out a shriek that was not human. Bang! His entire body exploded, not disintegrating and being destroyed, but turning into an extremely thick cloud of blood-black mist. From within the thick fog, 9 ferocious and enormous bat heads emerged one after another, each covered with fine, knife-like teeth, its pupils a deathly dark purple, its wingspan blotting out the sky. The bat's wing membrane was covered with dark red demonic patterns, each pattern flowing with a foul-smelling blood light. With each flap of its wings, a gale howled, swirling up white bones and blood mist. The nine-headed Bat King opened its mouth simultaneously, and 9 completely different but equally domineering forces surged forth. At this moment, the King of Slaughter's strength had actually surpassed the mortal realm, and he possessed the combat power of a divine official. "Lu Chen, today I'll make sure you die a horrible death." Before he finished speaking, the nine-headed Bat King turned its 9 heads simultaneously, and 9 beams of light of different colors shot out from its mouth. Chapter 380 Killing the Nine-Headed Bat King. 9 beams of light intertwined to form a destructive torrent, carrying endless killing intent, and surged toward Lu Chen. "Lu Chen, die. This is my true power. My true form descends, and I will kill any god who stands in my way." The 9 heads roared simultaneously, the sound waves shaking the heavens and earth. The space where the power of destruction and the power of Asura intertwined was torn open by this ferocious aura, creating a huge gap. Lu Chen stood in midair, his robes fluttering in the wind. He looked at the 9-headed bat's true form that blotted out the sky, his eyes still cold, showing no sign of panic, but rather a hint of indifferent mockery. 7 kills of Asura. The moment the low shout fell, Lu Chen's power suddenly erupted. The 3 soul cores in his body spun rapidly, and an aura far more powerful than that of the 9-headed bat's true form shot straight into the sky from his body. The light in the world suddenly dimmed, and the wind and clouds swirled. A towering Asura image slowly materialized behind him. The Dharma face had 3 eyes, which shone with bloodlust, and a Shura mark on its forehead flashed with a world-destroying red light. The Dharma image's body was as imposing as a mountain, with bulging muscles, and covered in crimson gold dragon scale armor. The 3rd eye flickered with purplish-black flames, radiating an aura of world-destroying destruction. What is that?" The 9-headed of the nine-headed bat's true form simultaneously revealed expressions of horror. Its arrogant roar abruptly ceased, and the ferocity in its eyes was replaced by disbelief. Lu Chen raised his hand, and the Asura Dharma image behind him also raised its hand in unison. The crimson giant palm covered the sky and sun, and slammed straight towards the destructive torrent. Wherever the giant hand passed, space collapsed inch by inch, and the murderous aura in the torrent was directly devoured by the Dharma image, transforming into its own power. The torrent, which was originally powerful enough to destroy the world, was crushed and dissipated in an instant under the giant palm of the Asura Dharma form, like an ant trying to shake a tree. Lu Chen raised the Asura demon's sword and the destruction scepter high in his hands, and the two forces of Asura and destruction intertwined between his brows. With a whoosh, the two martial souls in his hand, the Asura demon's sword and the destruction scepter, merged together at this moment. A divine sword, its entire body interwoven with crimson and black patterns, slowly took shape from the light. The sound of the sword's cry reverberated throughout the heavens and earth, drowning out all the screams of the nine-headed bat's true form, and even the wind and clouds seemed to freeze. As soon as the divine sword was completed, a radiant light shot into the sky, and the crimson and black rays intertwined to form a pillar of light that pierced through the heavens and earth. Lu Chen gripped the divine sword, slowly raised his arm, and into the sword tip diagonally at the true form of the nine-headed bat below. A divine sword suddenly materialized in the hand of the Asura Dharma image behind him, pointing at the nine-headed bat king. Your power ends here. As soon as he finished speaking, Lu Chen unleashed his full power, shouting, "Six killing God." The four words thundered, and the power of Asura gathered wildly, pouring into the two-colored divine sword in Lu Chen's hand. The already dazzling divine sword now shone even brighter. The nine-headed bat king was completely panicked. Its 9 heads trembled, their eyes filled with despair and fear. It frantically channeled all its power, and its 9 heads simultaneously unleashed 9 jet black rays of destruction, which intertwined to form a massive web of darkness, attempting to block Lu Chen's offensive. At the same time, layers upon layers of bat phantoms appeared around Lu Chen. Each of the 9 illusory figures contained considerable defensive power, attempting to save his life from this fatal blow. In vain. Lu Chen spoke indifferently, his wrist trembled slightly, and the two-colored divine sword in his hand drew a stunning arc. The crimson and black sword energy cascaded down like a waterfall, carrying the power to tear apart heaven and earth, and slashed straight towards the net of darkness. With a soft rip, the dark net was easily torn apart by the sword energy as if it were a piece of paper, without causing the slightest obstacle. The sword energy continued its momentum, striking directly at the 9-headed bat king's protective barrier. Layer upon layer of bat phantoms shattered like bubbles, producing a piercing cracking sound. With each shattering, one of the 9-headed bat king's heads exploded, spraying out large amounts of dark blood. No, impossible. I am an ancient, immortal being. How could I be defeated by a brat like you? The central main brain let out a shrill roar. The 9-headed bat king's body convulsed violently, its enormous bat wings shattering inch by inch under the impact of the sword energy. Its once sky-covering true form was now swaying precariously like a kite with a broken string. The last 2 heads swelled to their maximum size simultaneously, then exploded with a deafening roar. This explosion was far more violent than the previous one, with a dark shockwave sweeping in all directions. Wherever it passed, space collapsed, the wind and clouds died down, rubble rolled, and smoke and dust filled the air. The moment the 9 heads exploded, the Asura power and destructive power within the 9-headed bat king lost the restraint of its host and surged wildly toward Lu Chen's body. The moment the 9 heads exploded, the Asura power and destructive power within the 9-headed bat king lost the restraint of its host and surged wildly toward Lu Chen's body. The energy left in the 9-headed bat king by the 2 god kings of Asura and destruction surged toward Lu Chen's sea of consciousness like a ferocious beast unleashed. Lu Chen let out a low groan as the 3 soul cores within his body spun wildly, like 3 furnaces running at full speed, constantly and forcefully absorbing this power. Lu Chen suddenly realized something was wrong. Logically speaking, he should have broken through to level 100 after absorbing this power, but he didn't. At this moment, The power within his body seemed to have reached a critical value. The remaining energy not only did not continue to break through the bottleneck, but was instead drawn together by some invisible force, and began to gather in Lu Chen's sea of consciousness. The two forces gradually coalesced into two spherical prototypes, one of which had faint crimson gold patterns flowing across its face and exuded a killing intent that would make even the gods tremble. The other one was surrounded by a faint black mist, and wherever the black mist passed, it exuded a desolate aura that could destroy the world. One hot, one cold, one killing, one annihilating. Like the two most extreme forces in the world, they were forcibly imprisoned within Lu Chen's dantian. Condense. The two spheres of energy gradually became smooth and lustrous, their light became more and more dazzling, and the patterns on their surfaces became clearer and clearer, eventually condensing into two pills the size of pigeon eggs. On the Asura pill, the Asura mark faintly appeared. The killing aura was contained and not exposed, but people could still feel its domineering power that looked down on the world. It seemed that once it was unleashed, it could cause a great massacre. The destruction pill was about the same size as the Asura pill, with a faint layer of ethereal black mist swirling around its surface. It was chilling to the touch, as if it could even devour light. Within the pill, countless tiny spatial cracks could be faintly seen, radiating an aura of extreme stillness and destruction, like a miniature star of destruction. Two pill-like objects floated in Lu Chen's dantian, facing each other. The crimson gold and pitch black light reflected each other, yet did not interfere with each other, forming a strange and balanced situation. At this moment, outside the city of slaughter, a middle-aged man with a lewd appearance and a foul stench was looking at the city of slaughter. "You mistress, I'll bring you out right now and we'll defeat Lu Chen." This person was none other than Yu Shaogang, who had not shown his face for a long time. He was unaware of the destruction of the Haoshan sect and the death of Tang San. Before he could even step into the city of slaughter, a drop of blood containing destructive power fell on him from the sky. The next moment, his entire body burst into purple-black flames. In the blink of an eye, it turned to ashes and disappeared into the world. What a pathetic death for a self-proclaimed master, unknown and uncared for by anyone. Chapter 381 Super Artifacts. Asura Demon Sword. Destruction Scepter. Lu Chen slowly opened his eyes, a look of understanding flashing in them. The two forces in his sea of consciousness must have been the preparations made by the two god kings for him to take that step. At the same time, that majestic voice rang out again. The 8th trial of the God King is completed. Reward: 3 God-given soul rings. The lifespan of all soul rings is increased by 50,000 years. Asura God affinity increased by 10%. Destruction affinity increased by 10%. Current total Asura God affinity, 90%. Total destruction God affinity, 90%. The 9 trials of the God King. The final trial. Master 2 Supreme Artifacts. The Asura Demon Sword and the Scepter of Destruction. The moment the words fell, 2 beams of light shot into the sky from the center of the city of slaughter. A crimson gold light, like the sun, enveloped countless scarlet killing shadows, even tearing the space itself with fine cracks from this extreme killing aura. Another dark purple abyss, entwined with destructive power, caused the earth to tremble and mountains to crumble as the staff's shadow fell. With a slight movement, Hen was instantly drawn by the suction force of the 2 beams of light and landed steadily on the altar at the very core of the slaughter city. Within the crimson pillar of light, a blood-red giant word over 2 meters long slowly emerged. Its long and broad blade was covered with dark gold demonic patterns, and the blood-red sword was filled with an extremely sharp killing aura. This is the supreme artifact, the Asura Demon Sword. It wields slaughter, judges evil, and cuts down all falsehood in the world. On the other side, within a pillar of dark purple light, a purplish-black scepter, Zhang Long, slowly emerged. The scepter was covered in twisted, destructive patterns, radiating a powerful purple light. Its destructive intent was terrifying. This is the Scepter of Destruction, which wields destruction and resets order. It can easily annihilate all things and is the embodiment of the aura of cosmic destruction. When the 2 super artifacts were fully revealed, the world changed color. The wind and clouds reversed, and invisible energy ripples spread out. Wherever it passed, Rocks turned to ashes, vital energy vanished into nothingness, space shattered, and the city of slaughter was transformed into a desolate wasteland. The voices of the Asura God King and the Destruction God King echoed in his mind. Lu Chen. Draw divine artifacts into your body, merge the two great laws into yourself. Control the two super divine artifacts, and inherit the positions of two God Kings. Lu Chen took a deep breath, his soul power surging wildly within him. The light of his two martial souls and 18 soul rings intertwined, making his entire body radiant. The aura emanating from him resonated with the oppressive power emanating from the two super artifacts. The four soul spirits of destruction Ice Silkworm, Da Ming, Ming, and World Destroyer Demon Hound appeared behind Lu Chen. He slowly extended his right hand, reaching towards the Asura demon sword. The moment his fingertips touched the sword, an extreme killing power surged into his body, and countless killing intents churned in his mind. However, Lu Chen had undergone the trials of the God King's 8 trials, making his soul incredibly resilient. He suppressed the killing intent in his mind, circulated the Asura power within his body, and channeled it back to his fingertips, where it merged with the killing power of the Asura demon sword. Buzz! The Asura demon sword emitted a clear and melodious sword cry, as if it had found its true master, and the scarlet runes on the sword became even more dazzling. The killing power became docile, flowing along Lu Chen's arm and slowly merging into his body, completely connecting with his soul power and divine soul. At the same time, countless images flashed through his mind. The Asura god wielding the Asura demon sword, cutting down all evil in the world and judging the sins of all things. Killing is not the goal, but the means. It is to safeguard the order within our hearts and to judge those unforgivable sins. Immediately afterward, Lu Chen extended his left hand, reaching towards the scepter of destruction. Unlike the killing power of the Asura demon sword, the destructive power emanating from the scepter of destruction was even more violent and domineering. A power powerful enough to annihilate everything surged into his body, as if to turn his body, soul power, and spirit into nothingness. Lu Chen frowned slightly, circulating the destructive power within his body, which collided and merged with the destructive power of the scepter of destruction. The scepter of destruction trembled slightly, and the core of destruction at its tip shimmered with a dark purple light. The surging power of destruction slowly merged into Lu Chen's body, intertwining with his soul power. Destruction is not the end, but a new beginning. It is a way to break the corrupt order and give birth to new hope. The two super artifacts entered his body at the same time. Within his sea of consciousness, the two martial souls, the Asura demon sword and the destruction scepter, directly merged into the two super artifacts. In an instant, two extreme forces collided violently within his body, and then intertwined wildly under the pull of his soul. Crimson gold killing light and dark purple destructive power swirled around him, lifting Lu Chen's body into the air above the altar. At that moment, two forces within Lu Chen's sea of consciousness erupted instantly, and his limbs, head, torso, and spine suddenly lit up with various colored lights. The skull of the original Sin Oracle began to tremble violently, and the 7-colored light became increasingly intense, transforming into countless tiny 7-colored light particles that swirled and danced around Lu Chen's head like stars. Under the guidance of the divine soul, those light particles began to condense and take shape in an orderly manner, starting from the center of the forehead and slowly spreading outwards, gradually forming a complete helmet outline. The helmet shimmered with a 7-colored light, and the red, gold and dark purple patterns flowed across its surface as if they were alive. Immediately afterwards, the light from the torso and spine surged, and the Mountain Dragon King's torso bones and the Destruction Dragon wings shone with golden brown light and purplish black light respectively. The golden brown light was as heavy as a mountain, carrying the majestic blood and defensive power of the Mountain Dragon King, transforming into countless fine scale-like light particles. While the purplish black light was as sharp as a blade, carrying the annihilating power of the scepter of destruction. The two forces complement and enhance each other. Above the altar, the pillars of crimson gold and dark purple light grew increasingly intense, flowing through his limbs and bones into his chest, gradually outlining the prototype of the breastplate. The outline of the breastplate exudes a domineering aura from the moment it appears, with the main body being a reddish gold base and the surface covered with layers of scale patterns. On Lu Chen's back, Two beams of light condensed on the destruction dragon wings. The destruction dragon wings instantly changed, one half being crimson gold and covered with asura killing patterns, and the other half being dark purple and wrapped with destruction patterns. When the dragon's wings unfold, they are more than 3 jong long. With each flap, a murderous aura sweeps across the heavens and earth. And a destructive power overturns mountains and rivers. Golden red and dark blue dragon souls coiled around his arms, accompanied by 2 dragon roars, and layers of thick scales covered his arms. 2 streaks of purplish black light shone from his legs, merging with the power of destruction and the power of asura, instantly elevating the level of the 2 soul bones to the divine level. In a short while, a complete set of divine armor was formed around Lu Chen. The divine armor is predominantly red gold and dark purple, with iridescent light weaving through the patterns, and a 2-colored crystal is inlaid in the center of the breastplate. The shoulder armor is shaped like a dragon's head. The left shoulder has a red gold dragon head with wide open, angry eyes, exhaling a murderous aura. The right shoulder has a purplish black dragon head with exposed fangs, surrounded by a destructive eerie light. The dragon head connects to the arm armor, with layers of scales that advance in sequence. The 2 super artifacts, the Asura Demon Sword and the Destruction Scepter, appeared in Lu Chen's hands. In his right hand, the Asura Demon Sword had its 9 spirit rings completely turned crimson gold. In his left hand was the Scepter of Destruction, and the 9 spirit rings on it had turned completely purple gold. 18 soul rings swirled behind Lu Chen, interlocking layer upon layer. 2 illusory halos of light appeared on the outermost edge of the spirit ring. Just then, a crisp, crack, sound came from inside Lu Chen's body. Open black lens bracket the God King's 9 trials. The final trial, completed. Close black lens bracket. Breakthrough. Level 100. In an instant, Lu Chen's body erupted with a dazzling crimson and purple light, which shot straight into the sky, broke through the sky of the Slaughter City, pierced through the clouds, and illuminated the entire Douluo continent. Between heaven and earth, the sounds of slaughter and destruction intertwined, the wind and clouds swirled, the stars trembled. And even the clouds of the divine realm showed fine cracks, as if a new God King was about to descend upon the world. Chapter 382, the final chapter. 7 Kill Reincarnation. The number 1 sword between heaven and earth. At the same time, inside the Temple of Angels, a golden light shot into the sky, directly opposite the 2-colored pillar of light from the City of Slaughter. Amidst the golden light, Qian Runshui's figure slowly emerged. She now looked like she was 18 or 19 years old, but her figure was fuller than before, and her waist was extremely slender. But her chest was high and firm. Her waist and hips were outlined in a perfect curve, and her rounded buttocks extended down to her long and slender legs. Especially when illuminated by the golden light patterns, it is even more dreamlike and enchanting. A dazzling golden armor emerged from her body. A raised breastplate, a narrow waist armor, a golden battle skirt about 1.5 feet long, rounded shoulder armor, and other armor that perfectly enveloped her body, covering her entire body. The little angel mark on her forehead also shone with golden light, transforming into a ring that encircled her forehead. The 6 wings on its back had turned completely into a brilliant gold. With a gentle tremor, golden ripples spread outwards from Qian Runshui's body. She raised the angel's sword in her hand high above her head, and a series of enormous energy waves erupted, making even the sun pale in comparison. Immediately afterwards, another purplish-black beam of light shot into the sky from the depths of the spirit hall. Within the pillar of light, Bibi Dong's figure quietly emerged. Bibi Dong's appearance has changed drastically. She used to be so noble and beautiful. However, Bibi Dong now exudes only a strong and intense aura of evil. Describing her as having a blue face and fangs would not be an exaggeration. Her pale face contrasted sharply with her purple armor, which was shrouded in an evil aura. 4 enormous scythes extended from each side of her back. Inside the spirit pagoda, Baiji stared in awe at the 3 pillars of light standing between heaven and earth. In just a few years, that guy actually became a god. Before Bridget could suppress the shock in her heart, a beam of emerald gold light shot into the sky once again from the direction of Poseidon Island. Within the pillar of light, a section of ancient and vigorous tree trunk slowly unfurled, its emerald gold halo flowing like a living thing, each ray of light containing the purest life force. The tree trunk pierced through the clouds, its branches stretching out in all directions, blocking out the sun. Layers of emerald green leaves overlapped, each leaf trembling in the dim light, scattering countless tiny specks of emerald and gold light. Beneath the ancient tree of life, Yi Lingling, dressed in a green and gold dress, was gently swaying in the breeze. As the skirt fluttered, tiny buds quietly emerged from the patterns, and in an instant, they blossomed into tiny white flower buds. Her appearance had shed all her youthful naivete, and her eyes and brows now held a touch of divinity and majesty. Her skin was as white as jade, with a faint emerald gold luster, without a single flaw. A diamond-shaped life mark appeared on her forehead, and a continuous stream of life force overflowed from the mark, spreading down her hair and fingertips. Wherever it passed, even the beach of Poseidon Island sprouted lush green grass, withered corals regained their vitality, and the seawater became clearer and brighter. Instead of wings, she appeared behind her, but instead, she was surrounded by layers upon layers of emerald gold halos. Yi Lingling gazed in the direction of the city of slaughter and said softly, "Today, I, Yi Lingling, inherit the spirit of the ancient tree of life and succeed to the position of the god of life." Deep within the city of slaughter, Lu Chen opened his eyes and replied, "Lu Chen, today, by the will of Asura and by absorbing the power of destruction, I succeed to the divine positions of the dual god kings of Asura and destruction. From this day forward, I shall wield the power of judgment and annihilation, to judge the sins of all living beings, and to shatter the delusions of the illusory." His appearance hadn't changed much, but he had shed all worldly airs, and his brows were now etched with an unyielding majesty and coldness. Rakshasa god Bibi Dong looked at Lu Chen, her eyes filled with resentment. Why? Lu Chen was able to become a god so quickly. Even that unknown Yi Lingling was able to inherit the position of god king. Qian Runshui's golden eyes were filled with helplessness as she murmured, "The twin god kings. Asura and destruction. In this world, I'm afraid no one can rival them anymore." For a moment, the entire continent fell silent. Everyone was waiting for the four deities to make their statement. The four deities belonged to two different forces, the Spirit Hall and the Spirit Pagoda. On Poseidon Island, Xiaowu looked towards the city of slaughter, her beautiful eyes filled with pride. "Lu Chen, teach that guy from the Spirit Hall a lesson for me." Poseidon stood beside Xiaowu and murmured, "It seems the war of the gods is about to begin." The silence didn't last long. The woe-colored beams of light in the city of slaughter suddenly surged. Lu Chen's figure stepped out of the air, his feet not touching the dust, yet he carried an immense pressure, with the dual divine Nari of Asura and destruction flowing around him. Wherever it passed, tiny cracks appeared in the void, and even the air seemed to freeze. His gaze swept over the three pillars of light from the Angel Temple, the Spirit Hall, and Sea God Island. His voice, though not loud, pierced through the heavens and earth, clearly reaching everyone's ears. "Bibi Dong, Qian Runshui, make your move. If I lose this battle, the Spirit Pagoda shall disappear. If I win, the Spirit Hall will become the cornerstone of the Spirit Pagoda's development." Arrogant. Bibi Dong's piercing laughter shattered the purplish-black pillar of light, filled with extreme resentment and madness. "Lu Chen, if it weren't for you, I would have already plunged the entire world into the deepest hell, where it would never be able to escape." As soon as she finished speaking, the four purplish-black scythes behind Bibi Dong suddenly flew up, intertwining in the air to form a huge scythe phantom, and a dense evil aura swept out like a tsunami. Wherever it passed, vegetation withered, seawater surged, and even the life force in the air was instantly swallowed up. She leapt into the air, her purple-black armor blazing with light. And the Rakshasa god's divine power erupted without reservation. "You've only just inherited your divine position. The outcome is still uncertain." As he spoke, the Rakshasa demon scythe slashed down at Lu Chen. "Lingling, protect this place." As soon as Lu Chen finished speaking, he swung out the Asura demon sword in his hand. The crimson gold sword light seemed to tear through the chaos and collided with the purple-black scythe phantom. Wherever the crimson gold sword light passed, the purplish-black evil energy melted away as quickly as ice and snow meeting fire. The Rakshasa demon scythe, which had gathered the full power of the Rakshasa god, was actually torn apart by the sword light, leaving a huge gap. Bibi Dong's pupils shrank sharply, and the madness on her face froze instantly. Impossible. How could your divine power be so domineering? Lu Chen remained silent. Both Shura and Rakshasa are beings who control killing. The Shura god controls all killing intent in the world, while the Rakshasa god controls the hatred and killing formed by evil and resentment. Although both are gods of death, they are completely incompatible. The aura of the Asura Guu Yuina is the true nemesis of the Rakshasa god. The ancient tree of life behind Yi Lingling scattered green-gold light, blocking all the aftershocks from the two's attack. Then she formed a hand seal, N. D. The ancient tree of life behind her shone brightly, life barrier. A clear and majestic sound resounded throughout the heavens and earth. The moment Yi Lingling's hands formed a hand seal, the bra NCHES of the ancient tree of life stretched out once more. The emerald gold light surged like a tide, weaving an enormous barrier between heaven and earth. Each ray of light contained immense life force, firmly enveloping the core area where Lu Chen and Bibi Dong were fighting. Lu Chen. A clear shout pierced the sky. Qian Runshui had finally made her move. With a flap of her 6 golden wings, she sped forward like a golden meteor. Her angel sword raised high in her hand. A torrent of golden light poured down, condensing into a massive golden holy sword, carrying an inviolable and sacred pressure. As it slashed toward Lu Chen's back, Lu Chen swung the destruction scepter in his left hand, and a giant purple gold dragon soared into the sky to block the golden holy sword. The purple gold dragon raised its head and roared, its scales swirling with destructive divine power, its giant claws gripping the blade of the golden holy sword tightly. Qian Runshui paused, a trace of light go. LD blood spilling from the corner of her mouth. Her 6 golden wings trembled violently, clearly her blood and chi were churning from the force of the dragon's counterattack. The purple gold dragon let out a roar that shook the heavens and the earth. Its body suddenly swelled several times in size, and its destructive divine power erupted completely. With a sudden burst of strength from its dragon claws, a crisp crack was heard. And the huge golden holy sword was actually broken in two. Qian Runshui was thrown back by this tremendous force and crashed heavily into the barrier, her aura instantly weakening. Upon seeing this, Bibi Dong's eyes flashed with a fierce and resolute look. Ignoring the chaotic divine power around her, she suddenly spat out a mouthful of her own black blood, and her body erupted with emerald green flames. The Rakshasa demon scythe ignited Bibi Dong's entire body, leaving a series of emerald green afterimages. She leapt into the air, and the demon scythe eashed a purple-black blade of energy several meters long. Wherever the blade of energy passed, the void completely shattered, and even the light was swallowed up. A blinding, ghastly green flame slashed down towards Lu Chen. Lu Chen did not move an inch, a hint of sternness flashing between his brows. He suddenly raised his right hand, and the Asura demon's sword swung out, a scarlet sword aura, several meters wide shooting out from the blade. Boom! A surge of red light and endless killing intent erupted, instantly shattering the resentment within Bibi Dong's body. The ghastly green aims on the Rakshasa demon scythe dimmed slightly. The moment the green light touched the red light of the Asura demon's sword, it seemed as if countless wronged souls were wailing in midair. Bibi Dong was bathed in a red glow. Lu Chen's body surged with the intent of the Asura sword, Asura, judgment. As soon as he finished speaking, the Asura demon's sword shot out 6 beams of red light like blooming flowers. Ah! Amidst screams, Bibi Dong's entire body was instantly covered in a dense layer of red lightning, despite her desperate efforts to defend herself with her Rakshasa demon scythe. However, even though she blocked the main body of the Asura demon's sword, she could not resist the demonic light emanating from it, and the red light that terrified her the most still invaded her body. Qian Runshui's eyes narrowed sharply upon seeing this scene. The golden red light ignited again, and her 6 wings exploded instantly, transforming into 6 dazzling golden red rays of light. Qi forcefully broke through the purple gold dragon in front of it and shot towards Lu Chen like a sharp arrow. Holy sword, judgment! A mouthful of blood spurted from Qian Runshui's mouth, and the angelic holy sword shone brightly once more. A golden pillar of light that pierced the heavens and the earth burst forth from the top of the holy sword, heading straight for Lu Chen's face. Annihilation divine thunder. Lu Chen waved his left hand, and a bolt of purplish-black lightning collided directly with the golden pillar of light. The two forces confronted each other, and soon the pillar of light, which was originally full of angelic power, was gradually corrupted by the power of destruction. In the blink of an eye, the attack of the angel god Qian Runshui was completely annihilated. However, it was precisely because of this instant that Rakshasa god Bibi Dong dragged her injured body to Qian Runshui's side. Destroy the heavens and the earth. Lu Chen raised the scepter of destruction high, his destructive intent reaching its peak, and a huge black lightning ball instantly appeared on the scepter. The entire edge of the lightning sphere was covered with a layer of blue-purple, which contained a destructive storm. Wherever the lightning ball passed, the void twisted and collapsed, and even the surrounding divine power fluctuations were forcibly torn apart and swallowed up, leaving only that suffocating aura of destruction in the world. Qian Runshui struggled to sit up, golden blood dripping from the corner of her mouth. But there was no sign of retreat in her eyes. Instead, she stared intently at the rapidly approaching black lightning ball, her voice hoarse. Join forces. Bibi Dong, covered in blood, caught the swaying Qian Runshui and said, "Okay." In an instant, golden and purplish black light surged around the two of them. Angel's judgment, Netherworld Rakshasa. The two shouted in unison, their voices piercing through the roar of the destructive storm. Qian Runshui raised the angelic holy sword above her head and then slashed fiercely at the black lightning ball. Bibi Dong silently swung the giant purplish-black scythe in her hand. In the sky, purple light swept down with a swing of the giant scythe, condensing into a huge purple scythe light blade hundreds of meters long, which swung forward. Boom! The sound of the impact shook the entire world violently. The barrier was covered with spiderweb-like cracks, and the ground beneath their feet collapsed with a deafening roar. The blue-purple destructive storm at the edge of the black lightning sphere raged wildly. And at the moment it collided with the two-colored blade energy, it was actually torn open with a gap. Qian Runshui trembled violently, the light of the angelic holy sword flickered. Golden blood gushed from the corner of her mouth and dripped down her chin, and the remaining fragments of wings on her back rustled under the impact of divine power, almost completely dissipating. Bibi Dong was in no better condition, spitting out mouthfuls of black blood, staining her robes and the Rakshasa scythe in her hand. However, the hand she held onto Qian Runshui was unusually firm. And the purple-black light around her never went out, continuously pouring divine power into the dual-colored blade energy. 7 kills of Asura. Lu Chen took a step forward, and the Asura's sword intent on his body soared into the sky, instantly shattering the life barrier into dust. 7 killings reincarnation. Before he finished speaking, the Asura demon soared in Lu Chen's right hand suddenly burst forth with a dazzling light of 6 interwoven colors. The purplish black of destruction, the scarlet of Asura, the gleaming white of ice, the crimson of raging fire, the golden light of blood and chi, and the bright silver of spirit. The 6 forces no longer fought independently, but instead merged wildly along the sword's lines, coalescing into a giant 6-colored S word that spanned the heavens and the earth. Lu Chen slowly raised his hand, lifting the 6-colored giant sword high. The number 1 sword in the world. The moment Lu Chen swung his arm, it seemed as if only this sword and this unparalleled power remained in the world. The giant sword, with a sharp sound that seemed to tear the sky apart, slashed down towards Qian Runshui and Bibi Dong. Wherever it passed, the void shattered completely, turning into chaos. Even light and sound were completely swallowed up, leaving only a 6-colored halo to illuminate this world. Bibi Dong looked at the 6-colored giant sword slashing down at her, slowly closed her eyes, and when she opened them again, only resolute determination remained in her eyes. She shoved Qian Runshui away, unleashing all Rakshasa divine power and even her own divine essence, and raised the Rakshasa demon scythe to block the 6-colored giant sword. Don't want. Qian Runshui's eyes were bloodshot as she tried to rush over. But she was swatted away by the purple gold dragon's claw. The destructive storm and Asura sword energy spewed from the dragon's mouth held her back tightly. She could only watch helplessly as the Rakshasa demon scythe was instantly cleaved in two. Behind Yi Lingling, the ancient tree of life shone with golden light, once again constructing an even stronger barrier to block the Douluo continent. The six-colored giant sword moved with unstoppable force, its power undiminished, and struck Bibi Dong's shoulder directly. The cracking sound of bones breaking mingled with her shrill screams. The Rakshasa divine power, burning with divine essence, was utterly powerless against the crushing force of the six-colored light. Bibi Dong's body was thrown away by the immense force, and a deep, bone-revealing wound ran through her shoulder, from front to back, gushing out black divine blood. Her proud divine body completely lost its defensive power under Lu Chen's sword. The excrucia, pain of her burning divine essence and the agony of her crumbling divine body caused her to convulse all over. The fierceness in his eyes was replaced by endless despair and resentment. She struggled to gather divine power, but the Rakshasa divine power around her had already been torn apart and purified by the six-colored sword energy. The remaining power was barely enough to keep her from being completely destroyed. Lu Chen flashed and instantly appeared in front of Bibi Dong. He lightly tapped the destruction scepter with his left hand, and a purple-black light pattern flew out from the top of the scepter, condensing into a sealing chain in the air, which precisely wrapped around Bibi Dong's body. Bibi Dong froze, trying to scream in resistance, black blood trickling from the corner of her mouth. Her eyes were fixed on Lu Chen, filled with resentment. Lu Chen. I'm not reconciled. I'm unwilling, but it's useless. Lu Chen's voice was cold and calm, without the slightest ripple. Your obsession runs too deep, and you are bloodthirsty by nature. If you hadn't yet put your plan into action, I would have made sure your soul was scattered to the winds. In the name of Asura, I punish you to suffer 10,000 years in the divine prison. As soon as Lu Chen finished speaking, he swung the Asura demon's sword in his hand, and a spatial passage was opened, revealing the 7 gods of original sin to Lu Chen. My lord, the 7 original sin gods knelt on one knee before Lu Chen, their faces full of respect. Lu Chen lightly touched Bibi Dong's brow with his fingertip, and a pinkish-white light separated from her body, revealing a pinkish-white soft-boned rabbit phantom in Lu Chen's palm. He merged his divine power into the illusory image of the soft bee. One rabbit and spoke to the 7 original sin gods, take her away from Douluo continent. Yes, the 7 original sin gods dared not delay for even a moment, and helped Bibi Dong into the spatial passage. The moment the passage closed, Bibi Dong took one last look at Qian Runshui, who was being restrained by the purple gold dragon, and a complex and unreadable emotion flashed in her eyes. Looking at the disheveled Qian Runshui, Lu Chen waved his left hand, and the purple gold dragon transformed into chains that bound Qian Runshui tightly inside and out. Yi Lingling arrived beside Lu Chen, with the ancient tree of life behind her radiating light, and several streams of life force merging into the illusory image of the soft-boned rabbit in Lu Chen's palm. Lu Chen gently placed the solidified soft-bone rabbit into Yi Lingling's arms. Yi Lingling looked down at the sleeping soft-bone rabbit and said softly, "Is this Xiao Wu's mother?" Lu Chen nodded, then looked at Qian Runshui and slowly said, "You're a smart person. Those from the Spirit Hall who are willing to join the Spirit Pagoda can live. The others," although it wasn't explicitly stated, Qian Runshui understood Lu Chen's meaning. And she immediately said in a deep voice, "I understand." Lu Chen nodded slightly, and with a thought, the purple gold chains gradually disappeared into Qian Runshui's body. "I've left you a sliver of strength." Lu Chen paused, then reminded him, "You only have 3 days." Qian Runshui didn't say anything, turned around and flew towards the Spirit Hall. 3 days later, Qian Ren Shui announced that the Spirit Hall would be merged into the Spirit Pagoda and become the law enforcement hall of the Spirit Pagoda. Immediately afterwards, Emperor Davis of the Star Luo Empire ceded his submission to the Spirit Pagoda and led the White Tiger sect to join the Spirit Pagoda. From then on, the Spirit Pagoda became the #1 power in the Douluo continent. It was jointly ruled by humans and spirit beasts. The end of this book. Chapter 383, an unplanned side story. Extra. 10,000 years later, the realm of gods, under the leadership of the dual god kings of Asura and Destruction. The divine realm is now showing signs of moving to a higher level. Zhu Zuqing, Shui Binger, and others also participated in the Sea Gods assessment and were selected by various deities to become gods. They flew to the god realm together with Lu Chen. Shura Temple. Lu Chen and Xiao Wu were watching with doting expressions as a 6-year-old girl ran around inside the temple. The girl had neat short hair, and her eyebrows and eyes had both Lu Chen's heroic spirit and Xiao Wu's liveliness. Her pair of red gold eyes were full of excitement. His name is Lu Nianwu, Taki. Ing the Lu from Lu Chen and the Wu from Xiao Wu. It is the most precious gift that the two of them have given each other across thousands of years. Nianwu, slow down, don't crash into the temple's stone pillars. Xiao Wu called out softly, her voice full of worry, but she didn't actually stop her. She wore a light pink divine robe, her long hair was loosely tied up, and the naivety of her youth had faded from her eyes, replaced by a gentle grace. Lu Chen stepped forward, gently put his arm around Xiao Wu's shoulder, and smiled slightly. Don't worry, this little girl is much more troublesome than you and I were back then. No sooner had she finished speaking than Lu Nianwu abruptly stopped, turned around, put her hands on her hips, and looked up at him, shouting, Daddy's lying. Mommy says I'm the best girl. Upon hearing Lu Nianwu's words, Xiao Wu couldn't help but laugh out loud and reached out to rub the top of her head. Yes, our Nianwu is the best behaved. Xiao Wu coaxed with a smile. Today is Nianwu's 6th birthday, and also the day you awaken your martial soul. Come over here and let your father help you awaken your martial soul. Lu Nianwu's eyes lit up, and she skipped over to Lu Chen, grabbing his sleeve with her little hand and shaking it gently. Daddy, I want to awaken a powerful martial spirit too, so I can protect Mommy and Daddy in the future. Lu Chen pinched Lu Nianwu's little face and said softly, okay, Daddy will help you awaken now. Lu Chen led Nianwu to the center of the Asura temple, his divine power surging around him. Nianwu, close your eyes, don't be afraid. Relax your mind, feel the power surging within you, and just follow its guidance. Lu Nianwu obediently closed her eyes, her little face full of seriousness. Seeing this, Lu Chen slowly raised his hand, and a wisp of Asura divine power condensed at his fingertips. With a gentle tap, the wisp of divine power transformed into a soft golden stream of light, slowly flowing into Lu Nianwu's body and guiding the awakening of her martial soul. Clang! A clear and sharp sword cry resounded throughout the entire Asura temple, causing the stone pillars inside to tremble slightly, and even the clouds outside the temple to ripple. 2 beams of light, one crimson gold and the other purplish black, shot into the sky. Lu Nianwu slowly opened her eyes, and in her hand, a small and exquisite longsword slowly appeared. The sword is as black as ink, with faint red gold patterns flowing along the blade. A small, heartbreaking red acacia flower is carved on the hilt, its petals lifelike and faintly exuding a delicate fragrance. The sword was surrounded by a faint aura of destruction in Asura, but it was not violent. Instead, it carried a protective power, It was 7 parts similar to Lu Chen's Asura demon sword, but with a touch more gentleness. Looking at the sword in Lu Nianwu's hand, Lu Chen murmured, I never expected that Nianwu's martial soul would actually fuse the 2 great powers of Asura and destruction. Seeing this, Xiao Wu exclaimed happily, I knew Nianwu was the best. Lu Nianwu slowly opened her eyes, looked down at the small sword in her hand, her little face full of curiosity and surprise. Is this Daddy's Asura demon sword? Lu Chen stepped forward, looked at the small sword in his daughter's hand, and patted her head. That's right, it's the Asura demon sword, the Asura demon sword that belongs to Nianwu. Lu Nianwu raised her head, a bright smile blooming on her face, her crimson gold eyes filled with pride. Mother, look. I'll use it to protect you from now on. Xiao Wu knelt down and gently hugged her daughter. Okay, our Nianwu is the best. She can protect her mother from now on. The end.